What's up, everybody? What's up? Death Metal Podcast, Super Bowl of Death Metal. What's up, everybody? What's up? The Death Metal Podcast, Super Bowl of Death Metal in Finland. How's it going, everybody, on this Sunday at noon? Are you awake? America! Come on, get up off your ass. So Finland is in the house again. My longtime friend, which this dude got me into death metal. Like, it's one of the people, you know. Like, I was into death metal, but this person in particular, like, took my fanning to like a new level, the new norm for me. So it's really cool to see him face to face already. He's in the back room. What's up to Death Metal Podcast watchers? I appreciate everyone that comes out to talk in the chats and ask questions about, the bands. So yeah, and then also if you want to share this, it's Death Metal Podcast / YouTube, whatever. YouTube / Death Metal Podcast. Anyone that's on here knows I hate the whole advertising shit. Instagram too. So say if I am going to put an advertisement, I'll put it on like these platforms, YouTube. It's also Death Metal Podcasts on Facebook. All right. So this is what I'm saying too. I'm looking forward to this one. Yeah, we have another guest too. We have Luxi and another guest. Yeah. Carl, thank you for helping us out with the tester. Andy Jones from Phlegm is in the house. All right. This is the same creeps that always watch this. I really appreciate everyone that comes and checks us out. I think it's been cooler that we've been going live and doing the show. This show is live. We just come on here and we talk about death metal. Like, I don't know if I have a certain kind of memory or what it is, but like, I don't even really come with too many questions. I don't even write down questions. I just start asking questions because if you're talking to someone new, but they're a friend too, or them for a long time, it's like the questions just can come out very easily. Like, so, I figure I feels the most comfortable to do this, like having a phone conversation with a person you just met. Or very, you might talk about something too, not controversially, but like you might talk about something that like is not really known, especially amongst like other death metal heads. And that's happened to me a lot in phone conversations. Someone said, hey, I didn't play on that recording, and I'm like, oh, you're on the back cover and your photo. So anyway, Death Metal Podcast coming to you guys on a Sunday at noon. And I'm going to bring on our guests right now. So for me, again, I have to say this, over 30 years ago, so that's a long time, man. It might be longer than someone alive that's watching this later. And anyone that's watching this too, if you don't catch it now, check out the replay on YouTube. Because sometimes these episodes are just a little longer, so you might have to watch it in more than one part, man. Maybe you're watching the Super Bowl. I don't know if today's Super Bowl Sunday. Maybe somebody in the chat can tell me. Because I don't give a fuck about Super Bowls. I give a fuck about metal. So let's bring on our guests. I see already one of them's laughing because he knows. So today on Death Metal Podcast special for me, because again, this person also was a gateway for me for Finnish death metal, which, to this day, I am a huge Finnish death metal fan. So on we have from Finland, Luxi.
Hello, everyone.
And then also we have Miku from Sacred Crucifix.
Hello, everyone and boys.
Boys and girls of the death metal
Yes.
underground. We're here to talk metal, and I know there's no one better to talk metal with than Luxi because the metal crypt, you know. So basically, if we go back years and years and years ago, we got to break these guys out of their shell so they start talking and telling jokes. But if we go back years and years and years ago, when I used to write letters to Finland, there was this man wearing a demigod shirt on the show, and he would send me these huge letters, and there was no internet then. So the only way you could find out about bands is if someone wrote it down, basically, and sent you that information, almost like a club. It was like a secret club, you know. So there was this guy, and he used to send me letters, and then one time he even sent me this array of photos, which was of him just chilling out, you know.
Oh yeah,
So
I
like,
remember those.
you know, and
Black and white.
This
like
young
xerox copies.
This one Finnish guy, this young Finnish guy here. So I didn't know what he looked like, you know. And then because we didn't know what each other looked like, you know what I mean? So it was cool to, you know, to see the face of like the person who was sending me cassette tapes and from another country. So, and then Luxi, like, I'm not sure why or how I wrote to you the first time, but do you remember? I mean,
it's such a long time ago, you know.
Yeah.
Basically, I guess I was just trying to, you know, promote this Finnish death metal scene a little bit to right people, and somehow your name popped up, and you were like maybe a recommendation from John of Incantation or something, but I was looking to right people to whom I could promote some Finnish stuff, and you were on the list, so I guess that's where it started. How I got in touch with you.
Okay, yeah. I have a question.
Yeah,
I have a question
it's a
for
long
you.
time.
Yeah, so okay. Long ago. I have a question for you too. Like, you never ran a record label or anything.
No.
So everything you were promoting, you were talking about some of the most next level and revolutionary death metal bands 30 years later.
Yeah, they did have a huge impact on the scene, so to speak. When, you know, the time passed by, and they actually became a huge influences for the next generation of Finnish death metal bands after so many years. Because the first Finnish death metal boom, it didn't last too long, like maybe 4 or 5 years, and then bands just started to do whatever you call it, death rock or whatever, gothic rock, or you know,
death
you
rock.
know how
yeah, Finnish
exactly.
Death rock.
Yeah,
we know it. We all know it. Everyone who watches this knows it. Finland kind of went to like the death rock scene. But let's go to Miku right now, because basically you didn't even tell me about Miku's band. First of all, I have to tell you. But I'm glad that this did come into my radar years ago. And then this is where it came into my radar. So you had a band called Sacred Crucifix and a demo called Realms of Darkness.
Yes.
So, and this was from 1989. And somewhere in the internet, you know, archive world of fame, it said that this was the first Finnish death metal demo.
Yeah, it may be. I don't know, and I don't even care.
Well, I have to say it was actually, it was kind of like a proto death metal sort of, because obviously they had this thrash metal influence in their music as well, but it was just, when this demo came out, it was just way darker than I had used to hear before done in Finland. It was something totally different, and people were talking a lot about Sacred Crucifix. Like the guys from ART, for example, they told that you absolutely should hear this demo, and it's really heavy and it's really dark, and I totally agree. They may be the first Finnish death metal band ever.
For
And
the guys
Mikko
from
is,
ARG, that's what you said?
yeah, Ancient Rotten Graveyards. And they were, even great to me because they, Finland was basically like separated like two different kind of speed thrash metal, because from the southern part came all this more technical and lighter speed thrash metal bands, whereas from the northern part they came bands like that were heavily into bands like Slayer, Creator, Sepultura, and stuff like that. And the sound was much harder and darker in the 90s.
Yeah. It was like that transition period, that small little transition period where like we were listening to like Metallica and Slayer, and then all of a sudden like it was kind of like, oh, death, and obituary, and the vocals were like deeper, and it was like, whoa, it was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, exactly.
Almost taking us by like surprise at first, like, whoa, those vocals,
Yeah, Miku actually was the one who actually was crawling, like when there was this thrash metal boom going on, and then you hear a band like Sacred Crucifix, and you hear Miku's voice, and it was totally different. And Miku can basically, tell the same, that he actually tried to do something really dark and way heavier than.
Yeah, what was happening, Miku? Were you like, you were bringing out some kind of vocal style that you felt like was beyond the thrash metal one?
No, it just came kind of naturally, because our songs were getting darker and gloomier and stuff. So it was just a feeling. I didn't try anything, just go with the feeling, and
Right.
it came very naturally for me.
That's
and
cool.
for the band.
Yeah, and the band started in '87.
Yes, as Criminal Assault in the beginning. In Criminal Assault time, I wasn't in the band. I just came in when it came to Sacred Crucifix in beginning of the '88. So they didn't have a bassist at that time at all, the Criminal Assault time. So it was just a talking. So I couldn't play bass or nothing before that. They were friends anyway. So they were whining about we don't have no bassist and all. Oh, fuck. Okay, I joined. Well, then it started training 8 to 12 hours a day, and
Whoa.
for a while. So
did Criminal Assault have a demo?
Kind of. There's the thing. We basically have only one demo. It's that Realms of Darkness. The other stuff is promo or tapes from the training or
right
kind of rehearsal. But official demo we have only one. But there's a promo tapes.
And you played on the first demo in 1988? Because the thing I showed was the second demo.
Yeah. I played in the '88, but they came also '87. The Criminal Assault with 3 songs. It's yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I was curious if that band had a demo, and then your band put out the first demo, because the thing I showed actually, which I guess this is the first lineup and the earliest lineup of the band.
Yes. Yes.
There are a lot of inverted crosses in this picture, my friend.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, it was.
I love it. And the white sneakers too, I love.
Yeah.
I wore a similar denim jacket, and my hair had a similar look to that man carrying the inverted crucifix, the large one right there. Is that you?
I was in the middle with the
Okay, I
black
see.
hair. Yeah, and there is that is mixing thrash metal, death metal, and black metal on that picture. Inverted crosses and the sneakers and the black shoes.
But you guys made a very strong statement back then.
Oh, see?
Yeah.
Where did you,
Yeah.
Luxi, where did you find out about Sacred Crucifix?
I think it was just, a recommendation from some of my tape traders up in the north in Finland. So
Okay.
I believe that I got to know about them this way.
Name names. Who are these tape traders in the north?
Tepa Karen, for example, from ART. And then there was this guy called Vesa Ruokangas, who used to have huge lists of all kinds of stuff. Lots of Brazilian obscure stuff. And there were quite a few of these traders up in the north that had really killer shit on their lists.
Yeah, and when you saw those lists, you can find all these obscure gems of bands, and they're just names and demo titles and or recording dates. But in a way, each one of them, if someone back years ago sends you this big paper and it has all these band names and all these shows and all these demo names, even though maybe you're swapping a few tapes with them, you kind of want to know every band on that paper, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you basically wanted to collect everything they had, and you tried to this way also, increase your own collection, and so that you would have like a good collection in your possession, and you were able to trade.
Yeah, I got a question. I have a question for you though, Luxi. How did you actually get into tape trading? Because you had to have certain amount of stuff. I remember this. You had to have a certain amount of like rare recordings to even trade a list with a person who had rare recordings.
Yeah, actually, I can't remember that clear anymore, but I remember putting an ad on this British metal magazine called Metal Forces, like back in 85 or 86.
Oh,
and
wow.
There was like
pen bangers?
And there was this pen bangers. Yeah, exactly. You can actually put it for free there. It didn't cost you anything. They just published it on the magazine, and that was very good way to get connections all around the world.
Right.
And I remember getting even letters from Japan, and so many strange countries, like and it was just weird that all of a sudden all these letters just started to pour in, and there were like dozens of them, and I was like, oh shit, what should I do with all of them? And I just was very picky back then, and just replied to a few of them back, and asked to send their own trade list to me, and that's how it started, I guess.
Cool. Yeah, pen bangers was a big thing for me too. There was people I know now that I've known for as long as I known you. Maybe we even connected through there. You never know.
You never know. Yeah.
Yeah, because I wrote to Damo from Corpse Molestation and Bestial Warlust through the pen bangers, and to this day we still talk on the phone like every 2 weeks, say, or so. Which is so many years later,
Yeah.
It was cool to feel. Also, a note on the pen bangers thing. You would read the articles in pen bangers, and you would see all kinds of names of bands, and then all kinds of people that you say, oh, this guy likes Exodus, Slayer, and Sacrifice from Canada, and Slaughter from Canada. So he seems like my kind of dude, so I'm going to send him a letter. And then there would be another subset of like grindcore, and it would be like, do you like ENT, Unseen Terror, Napalm Death, Fear of God? I remember this first time I saw Fear of God from Switzerland. I think I saw their name. It said Fear of God, Swizz. And I'm like, what is that? You know? So I had to know, and I had to get that at the time.
Yeah.
How about you, Miko? Were you also into the writing and tape trading thing?
Yeah, just with our band.
Okay.
It was so fucking much when it was released, the Reigns of Darkness, and with help of Luxi, we got a storming in all the interviews, traders. Our tape recording was going 2 tape recorders going all the day and night, all the time.
Right.
We are sending the demos and trading demos and doing interviews. I think sometimes it was too much. I think because I was doing those basically by myself at home. God damn.
And you were sending those huge letters of basically like for hours and hours and hours, so your hand would be like, oh man.
Yeah. And all the interviews. And I came home from school and check out the post. God damn it. But
yeah.
it was fun. It was fun, kind of. But sometimes it was pretty much.
Well, Luxi also. I mean, this man seemed like he went out of his way to write to people. Back years and years and years ago, there was letters that came through like this. This would be an example of a letter I got from Luxi, and which at the time, like, there was band names on here I had never heard of.
Oh yeah.
And then you were writing on here, you know, like I'll record you some new gigs from Amorphous, Sentence, Impaled Nazarene, Necropsy, Zeisma. And you're asking me about the Crucifier. Did you hear, it says, did you hear something about that Mayhem dude? So this must have been a little bit later in our writing too, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, you know, this is the way we spread information back in the day, right?
Yeah, and it was a lot of work to write those letters, you know, because you were like sitting in your room and writing those letters like 4 or 5 hours per day. So it was a really time-consuming thing to do. So
I must say,
in a way,
I must say, the middle.
I'm glad there's internet.
Luxi did the enormous job for all the metal bands in Finland back in the day. It was enormous because I thought he was kind of our kind of manager, friend, brother, and everything with the band. He did the same job for so many bands, helping them through, and did everything and got no money, just time, 5-6 hours a day. God damn. So
God damn, Luxi.
Thank you, man.
I know. I also thought that too. God damn, this guy's not even in a band.
It's really a cool hobby.
Yeah. But our band wants to thank you once again with everything you have done for us for over the years. We really appreciate that, bro.
But you know what, Miku? It's very easy to promote killer bands like Sacred Crucifix, so no brainer at all.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much,
dude. Yeah, you did a lot for the whole Finland scene, dude. You were propping up the Finland scene like big time, Luxi. I don't know if you realize that, you know?
Well, I don't want to think about it too much. It's just hobby for me, so, and it's always been like that. I would never ask any money for some, you know, to get some band promoted abroad or whatever.
The true underground cult. This was my friend from my town, and we would write to you guys, you know. We would listen to this 7-inch actually. I mean, this was like in New Jersey. This was like the most important thing to us. I have to just throw this out there, dude.
Oh, that's brutal piece of work.
I mean, this is like the most. I mean, for us in New Jersey, this was. I mean, you know, you did another piece of work which is pretty known and well known, which is this Incantation cover.
Oh yeah.
which my friend that was commenting, he drew the little entrapment evil thing there. He used to be in the band. But this particular EP, for some weird reason, in New Jersey and New York, like everybody was listening to this thing. You know what I mean?
Okay, that's cool.
And I
I
feel
also
like
did
it
this.
that's a piece of newer shirt art, right? That
Yeah.
Abhorrence put out as a
Yeah, sorry,
shirt.
it's kind of messy, but
Hey man, has it been what? Yeah, like what did you at some time it seemed like you took off doing drawings and moved more into the writing aspect.
yeah, I kind of got fed up with this drawing thing, and I just left it outside and started doing something else. But it lasted what it lasted, and I can, of course, be grateful that some bands wanted to use my old arts for their works, whatever shirts or
Yeah,
EP
the
covers or
Abhorrence.
whatever.
The Abhorrence was the holy grail of the darkest, heaviest death metal. I agree. I have to agree with that, dude.
Yeah, it's a really heavy thing.
Yeah, I mean, there's just something about the riffs, the I don't even know, man. It just was just such an amazing impact it had. So, I mean, it was just it's hard to explain, man. You obviously were in connection with John McEntee. Was that through Revenant or was that
That was through incantation.
okay? So
Because
him and you were exchanging some letters as well.
yeah, I have been in touch with John since those, first demo days, and we have kind of never broke our connection at all.
Right.
And I have met John like a couple of times here in Finland as well. And when they had just come over here and on their tour and played for the Finnish audience. So
Yeah.
it's always cool to see face to face some of these buddies that you have been in touch for so long and kind of
Like right now, me and you.
Exactly.
Because
Yeah,
we never talked in person. We
I
only
know.
talked through the fucking I mean, I don't know where it is. Fuck. I had one of the fucking letters from you right here, I had this too.
Oh yeah, but that's my
This is your
brother's.
brother's zine.
Yeah, he was doing this biopsy
Yeah,
magazine,
it was
and
cool.
that was pretty cool read actually.
Oh, fucking dude. I mean,
Yeah,
it was like, there would be times when you would get a fanzine or something. And if you, for me, that I would write to almost every single band in there, basically. Because I guess I was one of the pains in the asses that you guys had to sit home and answer the letters for 5 hours,
yeah.
But I mean,
I know the feeling.
yeah, you did Miku's logo as well,
Yeah,
correct?
that was
Yes.
sort of remake of some logo. There was like almost like a similar logo, but I think Miku told me that he wants to make this sharper somehow, and he gave me this old logo, and I just added some things on it, and that was it.
And then Miko,
Yeah.
also, I had to ask you about this because your demo cover, I'm going to bring it back. I see like there's one little detail in here, and there's another record that has the exact same art on it. It's just a little bit bigger version of it. Obviously, you guys had no idea of each other at the time, I'm sure.
No. Yeah, it was me and Tommy, our guitarists. We traveled from Kuusamo to Oulu about 220 kilometers to a library and check out the books and magic books and something to find the cover.
Right.
And I don't remember what book it was, but from that we found this one, and we copied that piece on the library. So that was the story about our cover of that.
Yeah.
So later on, it was what it was, but back then it was kind of what the fuck. But these days, I really fucking don't care.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure back then you were like, whoa, you know?
Yeah.
Do you think you guys used the art first?
I don't know. Maybe
You don't know.
if I think the year 89, so yes, we did. But with one compared with if you mean the Merciless cover.
Yeah, Merciless.
Yeah,
The first Merciless record on DSP.
Yeah, we got it
this
first with 89. So.
But I mean, yours is black and white, so this is how the old school death metals looked. Demos looked. Nothing was in full color, you know.
Yeah, no. we had sometimes red paper as well, but mainly the white. Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to stay true to the colors
What's up,
as well.
John?
Black and white.
Yeah. What's up, John?
Yeah.
Great show today. Thank you, man. This is really, for me, this is very important because a lot of the bands that Luxi sent me, you know, Luxi's an artist, but I mean, underlying, and like Miku said, Luxi was sending out cassette tapes just filled with like at least 3 or 4 demos sometimes, and then sometimes the covers as well of very underground demo tapes. And at the time, when you got them in the mail, you didn't pay for them, number one. You never heard them at all. So, you know, all of a sudden this tape comes and it's like, wow, this guy just sent me a band called Sentenced. I never heard them. He put the cover in here. And then once I put the tape on, I was just like, I can't believe how good this is. And then we could flip the tape over and there'd be something on the other side, you know? It'd be like, I think maybe the first time I ever heard Demolich was from you.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
They were great.
Oh, I hear you. I mean, there was a lot of...
Have you seen them? Have you seen them live? Because they have at least, you know, come over the States and play there.
I have. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
cool. I got to see them live in 2010 or 2011.
Okay. Did you meet the guys?
Yeah, I met Essa, and I was hanging out with the guy who played with Archgoat, the drummer.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. And he played guitar on the in the live show at this particular Demigod show. Mm-hmm. And at the time when I was watching it, I was so impressed because the guitar sound was exactly like the original guitar sound. So it's nice when you go see a band, and even maybe they could be backlined with like some newer equipment from some of these festivals. They have equipment on stage already. The band goes there and plugs in, but the sound of the guitar for him, or maybe it was Jussie. The guitar sound was exactly like the demo and the early stuff, and it was so exciting for me,
Yeah.
Have you also got to see them live?
Yeah, so many times.
So many times.
I believe that I even saw the first Demigod show ever. From they played in their own hometown called Loimaa. Their first ever gig at some youth house, I think. And there's actually the whole video thing available from that show as well.
Wow. Damn. It's cool that was documented on video. And then you, at the time, you were videotaping the shows. Am I right?
Yeah, I was like filming like dozens of different shows from death metal bands and speed thrash metal bands, and basically all these Finnish bands: Impaired Nazarene, Bearit, Demilich, Demigod, of course, Sentenced, Convulse, Pertinence, all these
You just
Finnish.
named every band you did a 7-inch cover for too.
Almost true.
Maybe
Yeah.
except Demigod, but yeah.
But even Funebre, Disgrace, and what else?
Yeah, Amorphous.
Basically,
I remember you sent me a
yeah,
VHS one time, and it was
yeah,
just filled with
Amorphous.
entire Finland. And
Yeah,
at the time, my friend, I passed it around my friend group, you know what I mean? And we all watched it, and we're like, everyone in Finland wears a flannel.
really?
At that time, it just
Okay,
was
yeah,
interesting little situation. Here's a
yeah.
question: since you were talking about filming those shows, what was the Finnish scene like at that time?
Well, because I was, doing all this filming through Lens, so I can't really tell because I
Right.
didn't really watch the audience how they were acting. But obviously, there was lots of drunken bastards, in the audience, and they were having good time, and of course,
Isn't it weird?
support.
Because if you were involved with the show in some way, even a band member, you were videotaping even, that you have a different perspective because you didn't get to watch the show like as a fan or a spectator. You got to watch it from the stage or wherever your video camera was set up. But like you kind
Yeah,
of missed a weird aspect because it was kind of like you were almost like working.
yeah, I know the feeling. How was it back then? And actually, many times I was filming on the stage because the bands asked that if I could, come over and film their shows, and I was like, of course I can do that.
Yeah.
And it was also a nice way to increase your video collection for the traders outside of Finland. So
Right. Yeah, and because people didn't just want to tape trade; they wanted to video tape trade. Thank you, Vesa. If I said it wrong, I still have some of those VHS tapes with Demigod, Zeisma, Amorphous, Funebre, Beharit, Convulse, etc. Managed to put them on DVD, so they're safe.
oh, cool.
Yeah, that's cool. So let's go back to some of the artwork real quick. You at the time you did a 7-inch cover that's now kind of immortal in a weird way, which is this right here. This
Yeah,
is without the logo on it.
yeah. This is actually the new version from the cover because I need to erase that incantation logo right from the left corner
Right.
of that picture, and because there was this label called 7 Metal Inches Records, and the owner of the label asked me if I could, kind of make a remake of this cover and just take off this incantations logo away from it.
Right.
So I did, and
you worked on this actual graphic. I gotcha. There's
yeah,
another version of this out in the wild. Maybe you did it though, of where the logo is removed.
yeah,
I've seen it.
yeah.
Somebody's asking if you did the. Sometimes I'll just throw a question in there. Luxi, did you do the artwork for Belial?
No, it was
That's
somebody else.
Joe Pupo from Rage of Violence fanzine from New York. So him and Ed Farsley were very early, like me, a person who did writing.
Yeah.
Somebody was
It
talking
was.
about Comeback Records, which
Oh
was
yeah.
I'm not sure. Was that important to both of you guys at the time?
For me, it was a place to hang around because I knew the owner. So it was this Comeback Records was located in Turku, in the southern part of Finland, and it was the kind of place where all these, death metal heads went into right after school or whatever. And the owner was a really nice bloke, and he had all this new stuff all the time there, like all the import imports records from the major death metal labels like Earache and Peaceville and stuff. He
The
got them
fucking
first.
death metal Havete
Yes.
in Finland.
Yeah, the Finnish version,
Right.
sort of. Yeah.
So that was a
But-
physical store.
Yeah, it was a physical store.
Cool.
And this guy, his name was Teije. His first name is Teije. That's how we knew him. And he was the one who released Xysma's first album, the mini LP called, what is it called? Above the Mind of Moby Dick.
Right.
What's it called? I can't
Yeah,
remember.
it was a couple above the minds of morbidity. And then
Yeah, exactly.
obviously
And then
he passed away pretty recently too. So rest in peace to him. Making a big impact on the Finland scene.
I didn't know that.
Oh, you didn't know that?
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry to tell you that.
Okay.
Sorry, man. Somebody say, Luxi, your artwork is iconic. Thank you for your work. Did you make any art for Putrefaction zine back in the day?
I can't recall that I did any art for that Putrefaction zine.
Somebody's asking a question of Miku. Hey, Miku, tell us something about your demo promo 90.
Yes, it was done only for a couple of record labels. But yeah, everything went wrong with those. So that was just a promo, and we didn't kind of spread it at all. For some dudes and friends, so it spread after that. There was 3 songs, which was 5 songs we recorded, and 3 songs we taped for a few fellas. So total we have 5 songs. I don't know, Luxi, if you have that one which have all 5 songs in the beginning already.
I think you sent it this version over to me as well. First you sent me
the only one then. Yeah.
Okay, but first you sent me with these three songs because they were obviously a bit better than those 2 other songs on it.
Yeah,
and
but
then,
they were not quite ready yet. So
yeah, then you sent over to me this 5-track demo.
Yeah.
From the same remote.
Cool.
But they're good. They're good songs though. The first 3 ones anyway.
You just shelved 2 songs, but in a weird way, you didn't spread the promo.
And Miku, by the way, you may have some news about.
Yeah, I have some of that lined up too. I'll show that.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
So, somebody's asking, did they attend the Day of Darkness Fest?
No.
Luxi? That was Amorphous, Impaled Nazarene,
Nope.
Beherit, I think.
Yeah, it was in Oulu, I think, this Day of Darkness Festival.
Right.
So I
What
wasn't
was
there.
the year?
91, I believe. I had the we had somebody sent me a flyer. I want to say you, but it could have been many people. I would say, to Luxi, you maybe sent me the flyer, but probably not if you didn't go.
Yeah.
Someone sent me a flyer, like a little poster actually, and then some soundboard recordings from the same exact show of like Demigod or something. Like I was really like now I would think I'm a pest, but basically like when I wrote to bands in Finland, like say a Demigod, I maybe I ordered their demo at the time, say the Unholy Domain demo, but then at the same time I would send them like a blank cassette, and then I would send them sometimes they said send IRCs. But then I knew that I didn't know what that was worth, so I would send a couple US dollars in a letter and just say, "Hey, can you guys tape me any additional Demigod stuff?" You know what I mean? Maybe that was after the initial writing, because I was like, I cannot get enough of just this demo. and then they would write me back and send me like a rehearsal of like, you know, a couple songs, and there might be like one or two new songs on there, which was amazing to me, you know.
Did they really ask to return the stamps back as well?
Probably. I mean, you know what? From Americans' perspective, I want to say straight up, like, we didn't know what that meant. I didn't know what that meant at first. Return my stamps, because I was thinking,
Yeah.
well, that would mean I would have to spend my money to send you back your postage, and where would I gain? Where would I gain from that? You know what I mean? But at the time, I didn't realize that it was like that they were considering me like a pen pal, and we were gonna be writing back and forth. And then that was the first few times I saw that, I was like, I don't understand what they mean. Send the stamps back, you know? I was like, I can't do that. I can't do that for free. And then, you know, then one time I did get, you know, a situation where it said, you know, make sure you send my stamps back this time. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I went and I got my scissors out and I cut them out. And it just felt like this layer, like it was really thick and weird. And it was like it felt like a layer of like soap was across the thing, you know. And then I kind of put two and two together. I was like, they have to be sticking these back on the letters again and sending them, you know. Did you guys? Yeah, I was going to ask you. I never asked anyone in Europe. Were you guys soaping your own stamps and sending them back and forth like that too? So no one had to pay for postage?
Yeah, and IRCs.
Yeah.
I have to confess, I did that a couple of times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess it was illegal. It was illegal for me to send them back. I don't know if you realize that too. I learned that later. But I remember one time too, someone asked me, they said, can you send them back? And I had like a stack of like 6 different letters, and I was like, cut them all out. And I just stuffed them all in there. I was like, here you go. That guy must have been a very happy camper, you know?
Yeah. Didn't you notice at all that these stamps are smelling pretty good, actually?
Oh, yeah.
They had this soap on it.
Yeah, and then after years, and like they would come back to your house, and I guess you would have to like wet them up or whatever. How did you deal with this? How did you deal with the send back your stamps, like on your end? I don't think anyone's ever talked about that.
No, I didn't do that. I just sent those back, but I didn't do that. I got this off and sent them back, but I didn't have a, you know, do that work. So too much work to do that. Yeah.
Here's a good question, and something I did want to talk about. Talk about the Godly Sentenced cover. And I mean, I don't know, I'm taking this out of order a little bit, but you know what? We're gonna wait for that in a second. There was a couple other releases that you did before that. Okay. This would be a very early release drawing you did too.
Yeah, I got a second.
91.
Yeah.
Pertinence. This is right after they changed their name from Pertinence Avulsion.
Yeah, exactly. This was done right after, you know, they had made this first demo. I can't remember what was it called. Something. I can't remember the name of it anymore.
Right.
But that cover was done right after that first Pertinence Avulsion demo, and then they dropped it Avulsion out of the name.
Right. It's weird because there doesn't seem like there was that many pertinences back then. I sent an IRC once only to Entombed in the early day. Never got a reply.
Too bad.
Yeah. I mean, that happened to everybody back then too, you know?
I'm back.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was a couple other releases. So this was probably, it seemed like everything you drew was almost from the same 2 or 3 years too, I noticed, which was this.
Yeah.
The Sentenced demo cover.
The second one. I also did the first demo cover for what I'm.
Oh yeah, you did the first cover as well, which is this.
Yeah. 1990.
Yeah. So with these 2 covers, and this in particular too, did you draw their logo as well?
Yeah, I did that.
Ah, see, no one knows that.
Yeah, I did that too.
You're not I don't think you're credited with as many logo drawings as you think.
Well, actually, I can show you. I have a few logos here that I have maybe never sold to anybody.
Oh shit.
Well, I don't know if this is like when the demigod, maybe they were after some logo, and I did this kind of drawing.
Okay. So we're looking at what would have been possibly the original first demigod logo.
Maybe, yeah, but actually, I don't know if this was the time when they changed their style as well, so that they needed a new logo.
Oh, okay. That
I can't remember. Then
Yeah.
I did like wait a sec. Let me see.
I got a question
yeah.
too. Like, how did you that thing you just held up? That what did you got? What did you draw on that? That wasn't a piece of paper.
Yeah, it was a piece of paper.
Oh, it was. Yeah,
This
as
was
Serenity
like
fades. Yeah.
yeah.
You did their the
I did
same
this.
logo that ended up on their album cover.
Yeah, or was it like EP or whatever?
Okay.
And then there was like what is this? This is Necrospiritus, I think.
Yeah. Necro spiritually.
Yeah, some really, really old Finnish death metal band.
Yeah, that's a pretty obscure one. I haven't heard that
And
name
then
in a long
there
time.
was a band called Mythem, coming from the same city where Demigod came from. So here's one logo.
Oh wow. A lot of exclusive looking logos on here.
Then
Amazing.
let me see. This was basically for this US band called Ceremonium.
Oh, that was your logo? Hold on a second. You
no,
drew
actually,
that?
I did
Christoph
this one,
Schtapel?
but they chose the other one.
I know. I thought that was Christoph Schtapel's logo. I guess I'm wrong then.
Yeah,
interesting. I saw that paper at my house.
Okay.
Cool. Oscar, if you're seeing this, check it out. I just talked to him yesterday on the phone. We've been talking quite a bit.
And then I have a couple of versions. Remember this Finnish black metal band called Black Dawn?
Yeah, Black Dawn. These are super cool, man.
Yeah, one version, and then there's this other version.
How long would it take you to draw these?
I don't know, just 2 or 3 hours maybe. But
yeah, someone's also asking, how long would it take you to draw covers? Did the band tell you what they were looking for ideas, or did you already have drawings on hand? Thank you, Eric.
Basically, I came up with those ideas for the covers, and I was never consulted by any bands that what should I do for them. So
right,
they just either they just wanted to have them, or then they were thinking that those are too weird covers for us, so we won't use them at all.
That's what I was thinking, Scott. Ancient Ceremonium logo. Yeah, kid. we have a joke, obviously. Death metal podcast exclusive. So there's a lot of people talking about Sentenced here too. Sentence was my personal favorite death metal band. Shadows of the Past is gold. Rotting Ways is one of the best demos ever.
Mm-hmm.
There's a tape I have here where you had put I think this is from you. There's like a Sentenced I think this is the second demo maybe.
No, that's the promo from Sentenced. Yeah, this actually the logo that I have done, but that was the promo for the labels, I think, when Taneli Jarvo became a part of the band as well.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this is a tape from you or this is a tape from this looks like your handwriting on it though. This is a tape from Holocaust.
Yeah, that's my
That looks like your handwriting.
It is. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My friend from Ceremonium said, "Damn, I never knew that. Thanks, Luxi." Yeah, I think Oscar, I got that confused too. So I think we thought that was from Christoph Schusterpel. Rob Riot. I didn't know Luxi did logos for the Finnish death metal band Anthony.
Yeah, that was a band where Vesa Ranta from Sentence was first. It was his first band actually, and they recorded like one demo and one EP.
Yeah, here's a good question. Big four artists of the Finnish scene were Luxi. Oh, you're talking about the artists. Luxi, Turku, Rantanen, and Moyen. Were there any
Chris
other
Moyen.
Finnish artists? There was another one we're missing. Somebody's asking about the Finnish artists, and they said they named
Juha
three.
Vuorma also. Juha Vuorma also did Aulot Ghost.
Germa. What do you call it? Yeah.
Yeah, Juha Vuorma.
Yeah, he was an amazing artist too. And if you guys should look that up, because basically he was did a lot of art on early stuff. John Grave just adding in, the Unholy Domain is easily one of the best demos ever, and the atmosphere and songwriting is amazing.
I have to agree.
Yeah. Some Tico Studios. Were there any other major Finnish studios? Yeah, a lot of Finnish recordings and Finland demos were recorded at Tico Studios.
Yeah, in Kemi.
Right. Is that close to you? How far are some of these places like Oulu, Turku, or Kemi? Like, how much distance is between some of these countries?
I think Miku can tell what's the distance between Oulu and Kemi. It's like
Oulu and Kemi, it's about 150 maybe, over 100 anyways.
Yeah.
And from
150 kilometers.
And from southern Finland, it's maybe 750 about.
750 kilometers.
Yes, from where the most of the bands were from. Helsinki, Turku, and stuff.
These bands went very far away.
And from Kuusamo, we were maybe as much as from Oulu.
Yeah, let me ask you.
Pretty north.
Let me ask you, Miku, because you were in a band. Your band and Finland death metal bands, or I should say Finland music and Finland bands, they were subsidized by the government? They paid for the rehearsal rooms? Or that was just in Sweden?
That time in anyway. So we got free rehearsal rooms and stuff. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because we were kind of 16, 17, 18-year-old boys, so
right.
How can we get that much money for prices these days?
Right. And also, were you 16-year-old boys? Like, were you able to sneak your own beers in and drinks, so that way when you're rehearsing or have a party at that rehearsal room, or was it like a shared rehearsal room between many bands?
It was shared rehearsal room, but of course there was beer and stuff. There was chicks, beer, and music,
Yeah, I mean, Americans need to know this.
Yeah, of course. Of course, death metal and the music is almost the main thing. What I mean. Of course, when it comes to music, young boys, the music you love, you play with the friends you love. Of course, there's alcohol involved, and of course, teenagers. There's also girls.
Right. And then also, did you guys form bands just because you would get free rehearsal spots? Just out of curiosity?
No. No, that was not the idea. But if there was pretty much friends who came at the same time on the weekends to watch the rehearsals and stuff,
Okay.
So they were free to come in if they behave.
What city were you from? Again, I'm sorry.
Kuusamo, same city as the ARG.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty north, but it's not Lapland, but kind of north in Finland,
Right.
if you say so. So we had the own scene, and the southern scene was we didn't know everything. There was a dark, and there was a ART, there was Sacred Crucifix, there was a couple of other bands, Golem, Morphosis and stuff. Kuusamo was pretty filled of gloomy bands.
Right. And then
It was
also
strange, kind of.
there was some of the earliest like thrash bands were from your area then, if you say ARG.
Yeah, there was Pestilence, Mortal Decay, really early. I think they were formed 86 or something, 85 maybe. I don't know, Luxi maybe remembers better, but it was strange city, the Kuusamo.
Yeah.
The band, pretty much bands, and kind of there was a dark, and we all hated Les Stadiums, so maybe that's
right. So would you go to early shows when you were young, 15, 16 years old, or see like thrash bands or anything like that? Either one of you guys. How about you, Luxi? Let's go with Luxi first.
Well, I went to so many shows back in the day when there was this speed thrash metal boom going on in Finland. So I went to see bands like Protected Illusion and Oppression, and of course Stone and Air Dust and Warmath and so many other gigs, before this death metal thing happened in Finland.
Right. And at those times, you just were a fan, basically. You weren't there videotaping or any stuff like that.
No, I was just, like friends with all those guys, because the metal circles were so small in Finland, so you get to know everybody basically.
Right. There's only like 40 people in the room, maybe, right? For some of these shows.
40, yeah, 50. Maybe, yeah. That happened.
Sound like New Jersey.
Okay.
Yeah, because there was, even though our shows looked amazing, like Immolation, Incantation, Mortician, Nuclear Death, like all these like flyers, like there was only 40 people at the show, But that was our underground scene, which was cool. I mean, how about just a little bit before that? Was there any like concerts that came through? I hear a lot of people saying like Metallica. I don't know if they made it to Finland, but I know they.
Yeah, actually, Metallica came very early on to Finland, like in 1980. Was it during their Ride the Lightning tour, 84? They did like 3 shows in Finland, all in all. And then there was a couple of kind of famous festivals, like Giants of Rock Festival, where you could see bands like Sepultura, Sodom, and stuff like that. And then up in the north, there was, of course, Goose Rock and Anthrax, Death Angel, and stuff like that played at the Goose Rock Festival.
Cool.
And those were very cool festivals altogether.
You guys both went to some of those earlier like thrash metal-y shows? So you have Metallica's, Anthrax's, through like 85 through 88, 89?
Yeah, I think Anthrax in Goose Rock Festival was a big happening in Finland at that time. They had just recorded this Among the Living album, and they played all those songs.
Cool. Yeah, and that was a special time. That was a special time, right?
And we met there, maybe. We remember.
Maybe we met like in Total Drunk, and we can't remember if that really happened.
Yeah. And same thing with the Death Angel. Same thing, I think.
Yeah, they were great too.
Yeah.
Anything stand out amongst the earliest shows? How about you, Miku?
I'm sorry, say it again.
Did any old, like super old shows stand out to you and maybe either make you want to be a musician, or you just can't, like, it stays like a permanent imprint in your brain, like an old show? Putting them
I
on the
think there were
spot.
many, but I think Metallica and Motorhead, 84,
Mm. Oh
something
wow,
like that. It was so
cool,
that was pretty big, little guy and big show. So that
cool,
was
man.
pretty much.
Awesome, dude. Motorhead in '84. Someone talking about Creator and Nuclear Assault in Helsinki in 1989.
Yeah, at Lepakko in
Yeah.
Helsinki. Yeah,
Yeah, cool. I
that
mean,
was a
I
nice.
like to think about the older days before even like letter writing too, because obviously the bands were more in the thrash oriented zone, but it was like we were so young at that time with our denim jackets, and there was no patches. You know what I mean? There was tape recordings from friends. There wasn't like full real things. You know what I mean? So we would take our denim jackets and write the logos on them and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Gives me a good feeling of the older. We were very resourceful, and being that we were writing letters with other countries is like completely amazing as younger dudes or young teenage guys or whatever. You know what I mean? Like my parents, when they saw the mail coming to my house, they're like, they're like, you have a letter from Belgium, you know?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm like, cool, awesome. And then it just escalated from there. And then there'd just be a stack of like cassette tape looking letters. And like, say if something came from Mexico, it would look super shady. Like there'd be like, it'd be wrapped in a yellow paper, and there'd be like a bow around it with like string, you know what I mean? And it would be like,
mm.
wow, what is that? You know, and it looks like some kind of like drug package. You know? I'm sure you guys might have got some of those.
Yeah. I know.
All right. Here's a good question. What makes the Finnish death metal sound darkest and heaviest? Is it the harsh weather? Any distortion pedal? What is the secret sauce?
Distortion
From
pedals are for posers, for the Swedish posers. Just kidding.
from my point of view, when I'm thinking in the past, I only can answer the beginning, because I remember the feelings and when we're creating songs and stuff when we were kind of young boys. So in our area in northern Finland, there's pretty much Lestadian religion, Lestadians. So but so there was pretty much, and there still is in Kuusamo. So I really hated very much of those and stuff what they did for young kids involved. And I know I remember the suicide of the was she 12 or 13 or something like that, about the within that sect and stuff. And I really couldn't understand, as a teenager. So I God damn it, I was angry at for that thing and stuff they did anyways, and the whole sect and the religion.
Right.
And of course in Kuusamo there is mainly dark, all the time. There is a summer anyways, but it's very short. So there is kind of dark 8 months a year.
Right.
So you understand the feelings, and you are not kind of under California sun. And
No, I know that feeling where I live, because even though I'm in
yeah,
upstate New York, we only have about 8 months of regular weather. And for some reason, I
yeah,
moved between two mountains, so there's just like a cloud over my town, like all the time. So
yeah,
when I leave my town, I see sun, and I'm like, what the is this?
Yeah,
Where I
it's
came from
really
a sunny place, so like by New
yeah.
York City, in New York City, there's a layer of smog across it, and that layer goes into New Jersey. That's where I grew up. But we would see the sunlight there,
Yeah,
But you guys have 24-hour darkness sometimes too. Am I correct?
almost. It
Up in up in the north of
yeah,
Finland.
Wow.
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
during Christmas time.
Oh, that's when it is.
Almost all the time. But we have also in the summertime we have sun all day, 24 hours.
Yeah,
Oh,
Still,
wow.
never goes down
never
That's
goes
interesting.
down.
That's very
Yeah,
interesting.
up
You
in the
just
north.
you don't know when
up
to
in the
go to
north.
sleep, You're just like, damn, and just keep the day going.
So
That's when
why
you
we are.
work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
That's why we are tired and angry all the time.
Yeah, when they put out that Rotting Ways to Misery Finnish death metal book, and I had Kim Kina on here with Imu from the Finnish Death Metal Maniacs Fest. The first couple chapters of that, it was cool to hear about the earliest like scene of Finland and how the evolution of time of the different earlier bands that weren't I don't think they really got enough publication as far as being known as like as far I don't know as far as being known because they were more like thrash, and then it's kind of like Finland seemed like it really spewed out like a lot of death metal stuff.
Yeah.
So let's ask a question though, and somebody asked this earlier. They said, let's talk about this because I want to talk about this too, Luxi. This cover right here.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Sentenced Shadows of the Past record.
Yeah, maybe I try to be like Finland's Dan Seacrest, but I failed really badly with this cover.
I mean, I don't think so. I don't think anyone thinks so. This was a lot of stuff you did obviously was black and white.
Yeah.
But on this particular thing, you colored this yourself?
Yeah, I did, and it was like a pain in the ass thing for me to do because I hated using colors.
Okay.
The only color for me was like black, and that's it.
Hmm.
And when they asked, well, we might need like a colored cover this time, but because there was this Mega Slaughters LP that came out also on this Thrash Records,
Right.
and it was only black and white. So doing this sentence cover was quite a challenge for me.
It's cool. I mean, it's really a good. I mean, although maybe it is different for you as far as being a different type of artwork. As far as being color,
Yeah,
it's really a good cover.
I think so as well. The colors are good with that record. Why are you whining, Luxi? It's good.
Yeah,
really good.
It really looks good.
Yeah.
I mean, we all look back on the past and see things that we don't like. We're like, oh god, that was me. There was I
have to tell you one thing also, Roy.
Sure.
I also did the album cover with full colors for Asphyx. This Dutch doom death metal outfit, and they were supposed to release their first album, which was called Embrace the Death, on this label from UK. But this label went bankrupt, and all the artwork that I had done for this album cover and stuff, they all got lost.
Oh wow, that disappeared. I know that came out later, but you did a full cover artwork for a Asphyx record that didn't get released.
Exactly, and like a few years ago, Bob from Asphyx, he contacted me again asking whether I might have that cover, but I was like, no, hell no, that I sent you the original one and you sent it over this label, and it disappeared. So
did you do that normally? Would you send the artwork, your original artwork, to the bands?
Yeah, normally I do that. I never cared, saving like a copy for myself.
Yeah. With that sentenced cover, is there a black and white version that you saved for yourself?
No.
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 Okay. Interesting. Yeah. Now you know, Death Metal Podcast. And then years ago, Luxi would send you a letter that was this long, and they would tell you about every single thing that was going on in the Finland scene, you know? So this looks like it's from, I can't even see the
84.
date. 94?
Oh yeah, 94, of course.
So you were talking to me about Ceremonium, and I guess I was sending some Ceremonium over there, and then Inferia, Dysentery, Messiah Paratroopers, Mystification, Necropsy, Sentence, Amorphous, Demolich, God Forsaken, Paraxium, Opinion, Melkorn. Like
Yeah,
these
actually, those
are
were all.
important bands, dude.
Yeah, actually, they were all those bands that I was promoting back then. So
Right.
I
An
think,
unpaid promoter, you know what I mean? Like a
yeah, I
PR
know.
firm for death
Yeah,
metal that at the
I paid.
time,
Yeah, I paid everything from my own thin wallet back then.
right. But I
And
mean, in a weird way, I mean, I don't know if you realize that you had a cultural impact on the world by doing that. Do you know that in a weird way?
yeah, I think some guys have told me about it a little bit, but
Well, I'm telling you right now, obviously, because,
Me too.
yeah, like you put out all these
cool.
covers and this art, and you were doing this before, like a Mark Riddick, you know what I mean? And I'm sure even like a Mark Riddick would say like that he saw some of this stuff
Yeah,
before he
okay.
got heavy with his art.
Yeah,
And, it probably left some kind of dent on him as far as like seeing something, as deep as like this, you know what I mean? This is some pretty deep stuff.
yeah,
Or
that was.
something like I guess this is an old piece of art but used for a later release again.
Yeah, this was used. Actually, this was the T-shirt cover originally for this protected illusion, and they decided that they will use it again because there was this Brazilian label called Margue Records, and they wanted to, put out all this protected illusion stuff on one CD
Right.
because they had just released like a few demos and like a cassette LP, and they wanted to get them, like a proper CD release out.
And
So
did you do this artwork too? And this is for Miku's band. And this is a release that's going to come out soon on a Brazilian label.
That is
uh,
you have Vorma stuff, the
yeah,
logo and the early. I think it was 88 or 89. I don't recall, but it's you have Vorma stuff. I
Okay.
think it was little before we were really tight contact with Luxi. Do you remember? I think that was the logo we got early, maybe 87, but 88 for sure.
yeah, maybe,
Before
yeah,
our first demo, anyways.
yeah.
Yeah. The Sentence demo and the debut album were awesome and iconic. How long did it take you to draw, color, and design the Shadow in the Past cover? Great question, because I had the same, because that looks like a very detailed.
Well, I think it maybe took like 2-3 days to do that,
Wow.
but not much more. Much more. But I guess I was spending like doing that like maybe 3-4 hours per day. So I got it done pretty quickly,
Oh, it's
actually.
killer. Super killer, dude. Yeah. I mean, something special about that art. Convulse, Pertinence, Demigod, Adrenalich, Belial, Abhorrence, Depravity, Demolich again, Chamber of Dismay. I remember you sent me that one. Pestigore, Skeptical Schizo, Excrement. I think, yeah, maybe even the Excrement you sent me too.
Yeah, probably.
You were really tuned in with like even the earliest and very like obscure demos, like What did bands reach out to you and just send a cassette and the cover, and then you just took it from there afterwards and sent, like if I wrote to you, you'd be like, here's a tape filled with this.
Well, basically what happened is that I actually contacted all these bands that I wanted to promote. So there was hardly any bands that were trying to reach me out and asking me to promote them, but
Right.
I did it. I just contacted them all, and then they started sending, like a bunch of tapes to me, and because
Okay.
I already knew some fanzines and labels, so I tried to get all the promotion done for these bands. And well, most of them, of course, didn't get signed by any label, but
Right.
at least they get some name out and maybe a couple of interviews and stuff. But that was basically all.
Yeah, and it's not like it was your job to get them popular. You did this on your own dime, right? You paid to
Yeah.
send all their stuff.
Yeah.
Was it not expensive, or were you working a job that paid well, or how were you able to handle the level of sending packages from Finland back in like 1990, 91, 92?
Maybe the postage fees weren't that much back then, but nowadays they are really, really, high. So
I hear you.
I wouldn't do that ever again.
Yeah, you couldn't do that back then,
Yeah. But
Here's
somehow,
a question.
okay.
Here's a good question. Can't wait to pick that up. Love those reissues. Any kind of booklet or special shit going on with the sacred crucifix? They want to know about that reissue.
Pretty much it's coming up. So it's coming up from Ripping Storm Records. Hi, Boris, if you're there. And Extreme Music has coming as well. Hi, Dave, if you're there. And Svart Records as well.
Okay.
Hi, boys, if you're there. So Ripping Storm is kind of writing Sacred Crucifix history with everything from the beginning of the 87 to the period of end of 95. It's kind of first history thing. There's pretty much there's a rehearsal tapes and everything. So you find out the info from Ripping Storm Records site, and David from Extreme Records is coming. Reigns of Darkness EP kind of vinyl and CD and something else. I don't
cool, man.
recall when it's coming. And then Svart Records has doing also some death metal history kind of stuff. So there's coming the Reigns of Darkness as well. So there is coming pretty much, and we are also doing something new and odd.
Yeah, cool.
But it's later on.
There was this package I had gotten from your brother, actually, Luxi, which he...
yummy.
Yeah, I asked them about Disintered, because basically, like, I had written to Demigod so many times that in one of... two different members would write back to me. And then one time, one of the members wrote back, Sampa? Maybe I'm getting the name. Seppo wrote back to me, and he said, I have a band called Disintered. And then he sent me a photograph, and he was like, here is me, lonely, standing in the forest by myself. This is my new band. New band. And there was just one photo of him, and he was like this with his denim jacket. He's super cold. So I had asked your brother, because he seemed to... it was mentioned in this zine right here, or his Bio Peachy zine, that other little mini thing he made. And I said, hey, what is that band Disintered? Did they ever do anything? And he sent me a cassette, some of his original cassettes. Those are his. I sent those back to him now. And he sent me some of his original cassettes, and he said, I don't even listen to these anymore. He's like, if you want to tape them and send them back to me, I don't really have the ability to do that. I was like, oh, cool. And I had listened to them, and I saw that Disintered was kind of just something on the backside of demigods practices or
Okay.
whatever, you know?
Yeah, because it's
Super
funny
obscure.
because I have never even heard this band before. I know the name, but I have never heard of their music at all. So
Right. Well, I hadn't either, but I guess I
that's
just took that extra step to just ask a couple questions about it. And I said,
okay.
"Well, what
Yeah.
is that? Like, did that actually, was that just a photo or was that an actual band or a recording?" And then he sent me that, and there was maybe like 2 or 3 songs or something. And I was like, "Oh,
Okay.
cool. That was a real thing, man. That was a real band." I wish
How
I had the
was it
photo.
like? Yeah. How was it like music wise?
A little bit asimilar to Demigod, but
Okay.
just it sounded like a practice, maybe like one or two practices. Not too
Okay.
far
Yeah.
off. Yeah, it was cool. It was just interesting to hear that, and just one little line written in your brother's zine about it. That's it. I never
Okay.
seen it anywhere in the entire underground
Yeah.
because
I
I
got.
was such a demigod freak.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I always used to go just that little bit of extra mile just to see, just to hear a band that I never heard. You know,
Have you ever heard, by the way, Roy, this demo from Demigod?
is that
This
the
is that's the cover, and here are the songs.
is that the '94 demo?
I
Is this
guess so.
the 1994 demo with the blue cover?
This is actually the demo. How they got signed to Spike Farm Records and recorded this Shadow Mechanics, their second album.
Right.
It
Yeah, I
was
have a tape. I don't know where it is, but there's like a blue cover, and
okay.
it says demo 94 or promo 94 on it, and
Yeah,
and
but
it's only 4 songs long too, like that.
maybe it's this one then.
Yeah, it's a cool one. I mean, actually, at that time, I had thought their sound changed, and they seemed like they were moving towards an Infernal Majesty type sound more than the sound they used to have. You know?
Yeah, but that band was totally different. It was called actually the alter ego band called Neverborn.
Oh, okay.
When they did that 3-song demo, it was much faster, kind of like trashy, darker, infernal majesty kind of stuff. But it was
Cool.
really cool. It was really cool tape.
Cool. Did you guys? I have this older flyer just out of curiosity. Did you guys go to this?
No, I wasn't there.
I think that's in Sweden. Actually, I didn't show
Yes,
the right flyer.
Eskilstuna.
Yeah. Damn, I had another flyer here. Here it is. Le Put 30. How much is that?
About €5 these days. About
Wow.
$6. About $6, I think.
Yeah.
$6 for Eternal
Yeah.
Darkness, Demigod, Sentence, Impaled Nazarene, Belial, Thromadar, Enthusiasia, and Maple Cross, and Septic Schizo. You had sent me a lot of this stuff, Luxi. You sent me that Thromadar, if I'm saying it right, and Euthanasia,
Yeah.
which is cool. You know, like you were seriously promoting some stuff. You don't really hear too much about those bands nowadays, but you were seriously promoting something that was new or always something new, you know, which is cool.
Yeah. It was lots of stuff back then, because there was actually very vivid Finnish death metal scene, in the early 90s, and bands are, popping up like mushrooms after the rain all the time. And
Right.
it was really hard to follow all of them, but it was cool as long as it lasted.
It lasted only a certain amount of time, and it just stopped.
Yeah, it was like maybe 2-3 years or something, but it's kind of sad that happened. But I can also understand that in some sense that bands wanted to change their sound a little bit and do something else.
What about this band? Any opinions or something you spread
Oh
around?
Yeah, a very legendary Finnish doomish death metal band.
Super amazing.
Yeah, really cool. Really
super
cool.
amazing stuff. So we should say it on here from my friend Imu that in a few months or so, he has this festival going on in July where you have Sacred Crucifix playing right there.
Yeah.
Along with Pertinence and Messiah Paratrooper, Eternal Darkness, Sadistic Intent. So you guys are reforming to play old songs?
Yeah. Everything's kind of the spark for the reforming us again. We have never kind of quit it anyway, so we have always been, but we are not in hurry,
Right.
Cause the book, The Rotting Ways of Misery, I did the interview for the book, and start remembering the stuff and talk with the boys about everything, and
sure, man.
I think it was really good. And then when the book came out, that was really, really, really good stuff to read. I really love the book. It's really kind of represents the the Finnish death metal underground and everything. So we I don't know, I don't remember who asked it. Was it Tony or who asked it if we have want to play when they release the book of to be some kind of release party, but then came Corona and everything.
Right.
So I said, okay, ask the boys. I said, of course. So after that, about 2 years, we have now kind of went together, and now we have a new room, and we have a set list for the old songs from 87 to 91 nowadays, and also doing something new as well.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
My friend Bill says Roy, Seppo, and I are the only one who heard the Dissentered.
Nice.
Yeah, we're the only ones. Somebody was talking about that was a weird period for Demigod. I dug Shadow Mechanics, but it's definitely different. It definitely was different. Yeah. Demigod was amazing at MDF. I have to agree with you, my friend. It was amazing. Demigod is seriously just the heaviest thing. For real.
Yeah.
Here's a good question. This is a good question. I didn't even solicit this from Kat from UK. How did Luxi get involved with Isten?
Let me remember a little bit. I think there was the guy who was the editor of Isten magazine. His name was Mikko Mattila, and he was maybe into trading tapes as well. Actually, I can't recall that clearly anymore, but somehow I got involved to write stuff for that side magazine, because I had all these contacts with so many bands, and it was like an easy way for me to start introducing some of these bands through Eastern magazine, and Mikko Mattila was pretty much approving everything that I was suggesting to him, that could I use this interview and that interview for your magazine, and he was like, yeah, send them over. And but I can't really remember how I first got in touch with Mikko Mattila.
Yeah,
it may have something to do with this tape trading.
Yeah, Isten super important for the Finnish scene as far as spreading music too.
Yeah, that's very true.
Is this eventually, this became your baby child, right? The metalcrypt.com?
Yeah, I joined the Metalcrypt 2011, and my first interview ever for that site was Autopsy, I think, with the whole band, because they played in Finland, and I went to see them, and yeah, it was a festival actually, yeah, and I met the guys in hotel and did the interview there after. they show.
Yeah, and you
Very-
did a lot of interviews, I noticed, over the years for Voices from the Dark Side too,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
was one of the best online fanzines as far as like interviews and reviews.
yeah. It's really, really undergroundish website, and I
Yeah,
really like what Frank Stever has been doing for years already,
same.
because he's like like this heavy, let's say, death metal dinosaur, like we are, sort of. He has been around for so long.
Yeah, I would like to bring him onto the podcast at some point, the live stream, because I feel like he's a very important part of
Yeah,
spreading this music. You know what I mean?
exactly.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna try to link that up because and he has a very early view on it too, of the
yeah,
actual like
yeah,
the changeover of say like thrash even into death metal. You know?
yeah. He was involved with death metal scene way before, like before bands like Morbid Angel or Entombed or whatever they had, recorded their first albums. And I think he was there very early on, in the death metal scene,
Yeah.
when their
Someone
bands like
saying that
Nihilist and
Isten was an amazing zine. Demigod first demos era. Hell yeah. All right, somebody has a question. They asked more than once. Can you ask a little bit about Anguish? I never hear anything about them.
wow. I only remember that they made like one EP and maybe one demo, but
They didn't do much.
that's far as my recollections about them is concerned.
Yeah. Luxi drawn the Life Hereafter EP cover too from Interment from Finland.
Nope, I did not.
Yeah, I knew that. It's actually an old image, and then I don't know if you did a logo. Luxi, this is something we didn't ask. Is like you're not credited on all your logo work that's out in the public, like Sentenced. Is what
Uh,
other bands have you done logos for that are more like known?
of course, this,
Avulsed,
yeah, everybody knows them
right?
basically, who are into death metal. And what else I did? Oh yeah, uh,
We see Luxi CD collection and his guitar in the background there.
a little bit. Well, I actually did the last logo actually that I did was this. Let me see. This Finnish thrash metal band called Demonstrator. I think I sent you
Yeah,
the
you did.
logo of them as well.
Was that one of your later things that you had done?
Yeah, I think that was the latest thing. I think I did like
Let
a
me ask you a question.
couple of years ago.
Did you do this?
Yes, I did. I actually have like the
The
original.
Lord Diablos,
Yeah,
aka Beherit, down there demo cover.
I have like the blue and the red version
Holy shit.
here.
Uncut gems. Super cool, man. That demo
Yeah,
was amazing.
it was. Yeah,
Fuck,
and it
dude.
still is.
It's like Beherit mixed with Mortician.
Yeah, I think the story behind this, the Lord Diabolos, is that they wanted to get the rid of their deal with this turbo music in Germany. That was pretty much like a rip-off label. So they Marco Holocausto, he wanted to change the Beherit name to Lord Diabolos at
Oh,
that
okay.
time, and
To
release
shake
music.
off Turbo
Yeah,
Records.
exactly. Release music, under this new moniker, and they just did this one demo back
The
then.
moniker was amazing, and that demo was amazing. I mean, if that's that, as far as direction wise, they were going in a direction on that recording that was even more intense than the Beherit in a way. I think it had a drum
They
machine, if I'm
sounded,
not mistaken.
yeah, for me they sounded a little bit like this Canadian blasphemy.
Yeah.
Sort of. Very intense stuff. Very
Then
intense
you had a
stuff.
couple other covers. I mean, this might have been a later release, but an earlier artwork for you. Convulse.
Oh yeah. This artwork was originally used for this magazine called what is it called?
Diarrherium Autopsia.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. I remember it. I wish I had it. I cannot find it. I don't know if I sold it in a moment of desperation of some point.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was an amazing cover. Which original was this kind of the original cover though? Or no, it's a different release. This is Evil Prevails.
Yeah, that's the comeback album of Convulse. They wanted to have it like very simple cover. And there's actually these 4 guys kind of symbolizing the return of Convulse.
Very cool, man. Very cool.
Yeah.
This looks familiar to me too. Is this is something?
Yeah, this was made for a new band from the States, which name I can't remember anymore, but they were actually asking me to draw something like what I did back in the day, like during the 90s. And
yeah, this is that band you mentioned earlier too.
Right? Oh yeah, Demonstrator.
Cool, man. And then you did this too.
Yeah.
With an older art, but I guess Funabarum with their logo on top of it.
Yeah. That was done like maybe 81.
Is this one of yours? 91. It says it's credited on you, but I know you did the cover art of the other release.
Yeah, that's the EP cover for Protect the Illusion. The last EP they ever did. I think they made like a couple of EPs.
Let me ask a question because I could see it deep in this art. Like, were you using like a little marker with the micron little pen dot thing?
Yeah. I was using exactly that. And
you had a lot of various styles because this is not super duperific death metal-y.
No, it's not, because obviously gore stuff doesn't fit too well with thrash metal bands.
Yeah.
So I had to do something different.
How about this piece, which I like it? You named it Gore Picasso.
Yeah, this was actually used for this American death metal band that was very, very much influenced by the old school Finnish death metal. But like I told you, I can't remember the name of this band anymore. But they actually wanted to pay me for this art, and I was telling them that, well, I haven't done anything like this for plus 25 years or so, so it's gonna be difficult for me to, grab a pencil again and start, drawing. But that's why I asked, could you pay me like a couple of dollars so that I could at least I can try to do something. And they were actually very happy with this drawing.
Yeah, and there was a little bit of artwork that you sent me that was more in the color zone. I'm assuming paintings, maybe?
Well, the thing with this is that one of my brothers, I have 3 other brothers, and one of my brothers, he actually knows how to use these oil colors. And he once asked me that if I could send like some of my old artwork to him so that he could, add those colors on them. And I was like, okay, I can send you some. And he said those back to me, and I was like, wow, it's amazing to see how they look like with, all these colors and stuff.
Yeah. Would this be another example of that?
Yeah. That's what my brother did with these oil colors.
Very old art of yours. And then you have this art, which is the black and white version.
Yes.
And then there's a color version, which I'm assuming your brother.
Yeah, exactly.
Super cool, man.
He just put some colors on it.
Yeah, it's super cool though, dude. He looks airbrushed, maybe, or is it with paint, you think?
Actually, I'm not sure about my brother's
computer or paint or whatever. You don't know really sure.
Looks cool.
Yeah, it does look cool. Let me ask you guys both a question. What is this band? How do you feel, or what does this band mean to you?
It means a lot to me. Xysma.
Zizma.
Yeah. They were like the Finnish version from Caucus back in the day. So gory and, just grinding stuff. The first demo, Swarming of the Maggots, it was a really cool piece of work. It was something so brutal that no other Finnish band has even touched.
Yeah. What about that snare drum?
Yeah, really cool. Really original and from the Finnish scene, and I think Xysma is pretty important to every kind of death metal or thrash metal or some fan from Finland. I think so.
Yeah.
It should be.
First couple releases, freaking phenomenal.
Yeah.
Did you, Roy, know that Xysma, they are actually recording a new album?
Yeah, I did, but my question is, what is it going to be like? Because I haven't listened to Zizma since the first of the Magical.
I believe they are not going to go back to the roots. I have to disappoint you right away.
That's fine. I didn't expect.
I'm sorry.
I didn't expect. I thought they took like a slower road towards the kind of rock death metal into rock zone too,
Yeah.
Even Disgrace in a way kind of took like a slower kind of zone too, They kind of started a little on the second really after Grey Misery, and then
this was actually the album that was supposed to be released after Grey Misery.
Right.
It says only the original name of it was like
The Bride's Wedding Dress or something.
No, it was like Black Wizard's Cry, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit before that, Luxi, I don't know if you know this, but like I was in correspondence with them so much with Jukka. You said I'm saying that right. So basically, I did like a contract with them to put out a 7-inch called Autumn Sabbath, and then they sent me back a reel to reel, and they sent me back a cassette tape with what was on there, which was 4 songs. And I had listened to it, and I listened to it like 2 or 3 times, and I said, I'm not going to release this, basically, because it was not. I guess I was expecting something in the Grey Misery feel, or I felt like maybe I think I did hear that release you just showed me, but I guess maybe I was expecting something different. And then once I listened to it, I said, like I know the band is known, but my own feeling is only release the stuff that you really love.
Yeah.
And I kept true to that with anything through the years. Here's another question for Luxi. Did you draw the art on the Embrace of Darkness shirt that Demigod put out in the Slumber era? It's the one with the tree on the front.
Nope, I did not. It was maybe some Canadian guy,
Rob Smith. We're not talking about the 7-inch cover. I mean the album cover. It's like a shirt art.
Yeah, but I didn't, draw that at all. It was some other dude, and maybe he was even from Canada. I can't remember anymore.
Yeah,
I'm old, so I can't remember everything.
I mean, you look good, so I wouldn't worry about it. Die and leave a good corpse. Are you guys into newer Finnish death bands? If yes, what bands?
Well, I have a couple of recommendations actually.
Bring it on.
Cryptic Hatred.
Yes, I know that name.
Yeah,
I have one of their cassettes.
And I got this as a promo from the label. With this, the other the other records is going to put out this on this month, 18th of February, and this is kind of to me they sounded like Dance Fans Infested. Remember this band?
Yeah.
Kind of like a little bit like D-side clone, but this is heavier and darker stuff.
How about you, Miku? Any new bands you like? Here's the question again.
Maybe.
Newer Finnish bands.
Not these days. I trust Luxi. I must try those what you have. I don't been that in that scene that so much so that I can't recall.
Do you just listen to old demos and old Slayer records?
Pretty much old stuff. Yeah, also new. I'm not whole in the death metal. I listen pretty much. These days I've listened pretty much Entombed. Dimmu Borgir also been for years, and kind of stuff. Pretty much black metal also. And everything.
Right.
So I'm pretty much
Morbific.
Yeah. Yes, that I know. Yes, cool.
Yeah, they're making noise. It's good to see. It's good to see newer bands out there too.
Yes, of course. That's cool. I trust Luxi, so I try those.
Let's go back with you, Mikko. Too. Let's go back with you, Mikko. Talk to me about this little time and period in your life. Were you recording something? Well, I don't think this was you, but
that was the Realms of Darkness sessions, Janne, or Lycanthropy. It was about the same time. I think it was Sacred Crucifix Realms of Darkness demo. Same. There was 3 pictures, me, Tommy, and
1989.
And yes.
Is that
1989.
You?
No, that is Janne, drummer.
Janne, okay.
Janne, yes.
Yeah. Janne's. I'm bad at these pronunciations. Is this the exact same lineup from all the years?
No. That was me down there. Beside me is Janne without the hair or short hair. Upper picture, other side is Tommy, and we had Tero for the second guitarist at that time. I think that was around 2002 or something.
Yeah, because you guys have existed as a band even without, over the years.
Yes.
We have
never screamed so much about us. We just have something, and maybe Luxi is the only one who knows what we have done over the years. So,
well, Luxi gets around because he sent me a couple photos here, which obviously Luxi, you still go to shows and hang out with old metalheads because they're just here's you hanging out with Hell Cannon.
Yeah, Hell Cannon.
And then here's you with Rick from Sadistic Intent. And 2016.
Yeah, those pictures. This is taken from this.
You're chilling with Raven.
Tons of metal crews, which are great.
And Francisco from Jamming Out All Badass. I like this one. Here's you hanging out with Jeff Waters from Annihilator. This is from Texas, Annihilator, right?
I guess so. Yeah.
There's only one Annihilator, I believe. And here's you also hanging out with one of my friends.
Yeah, the mighty Nuclear Assault.
Hell yeah. And the mighty Dan Loker with his beer.
Yeah.
No joint in his hand on that one.
Yeah. Just Finnish beer.
This goes back a little further. 20 years, I guess. Wow, that's amazing. At Vakken.
Yeah, there's Eric
Rutan from Hate Eternal, and now Morbid Angel.
Yeah, back then I even had that Ripping Corpse shirt on me.
Yeah, all the time.
Sort of.
Hey, I mean, I'm from the state of ripping corpse, so I definitely get it.
Yeah,
It's a good thing.
yeah,
So I mean, over the years too, I notice. Am I wrong that you champion Slayer as your favorite?
yeah. I have to say so. I'm a diehard Slayer collector, especially for the vinyls,
Okay,
and especially for these bootleg vinyls,
right.
because I don't care for these or official reprints like with so many different colors and stuff because I could spend like a little
You mean
fortune
stuff
on
like
them.
this?
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Wow.
I'm with
You
you,
have.
Luxi.
There you go.
And those are the better recording. I mean, like 1985 Dynamo or, Belgium 1984, 85. I mean, that's one of the most amazing.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
just, yeah. I don't know if I really followed Slayer through,
Hmm.
the eras if they're
Yeah.
south of heaven, but I did go to see them. My cousin took me to go see them, and I was like, it was like a hardcore. They did a hardcore cover album where they did like Minor Threat and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my cousin said, I got you a ticket to see Slayer. And it was the
Hmm.
first time for me to see them since back in 1988 at Lemoore. And
Mm.
I was like, this is not going to be that good, And I was fucking shocked, dude, because basically they blew my head off that the amount of songs that they played from Hell Awaits. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I expected them to maybe play like a song or something.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, they went out there and they played like if what felt like the entire album, I believe. If they
Yeah.
left off one song, they left off one song, and that was it.
Yeah. They were so important band to me back in the day that I have to know my roots. So I did. I have this tattoo.
Yeah, yeah, I see that.
The
You got
first
two
album cover.
tattoos of Slayer.
Yeah. Show no mercy.
Yeah, man, it's important stuff.
Yeah. Really important.
Divine intervention still has a soft spot for me. That's good. Up to divine invention only. Favorite band. I hear you. Okay, let's see here now. Somebody's asking any stories about unholy or throgotan.
Unfortunately, I don't have any stories about those because those bands. Well, of course, Unholy. They made like 4 albums and then they split up, and they were very different sounding Finnish
Right.
band from any other band. They have really their own distinct style, and I kind of liked them, but for me they were of course better bands than Unholy. I have to respect what they did, but I wasn't into that tracking doomy stuff back then.
I gotcha. Gotcha.
Yeah.
So also somebody was saying that this is a newer band too. Newer.
The-
Galvanizer. And you did some
yeah,
work with them as well, which would be this right here. Sorry, death metalers. So you did like a cover art from Galvanizer, but it was kind of like a older art
yeah,
brought
from
into the newer days. So it was like this art.
exactly. Yeah.
So how long ago did you make that art? And here's actually a Galvanizer. Horrid tales of death.
Well, the story behind this cover is actually this was supposed to be the T-shirt design for Norwegian Cadavers T-shirt,
Oh,
and they had just signed a deal with this Necrosis record that was run by Bill from Carcass,
right.
and Bill was supposed to put out that design as a Cadaver T-shirt, but he never launched that.
He didn't seem like he put out many shirts. He didn't seem like he
No,
put out many releases at all.
I think he put out like a few on Necrosis label, but
Yeah, this just looked like Earache's logo wasn't on the Carnage, but it's inside saying distributed by Earache. But I don't know if Earache
Yeah,
just put it out.
yeah, I believe that's how it went actually. Yeah, true.
Yeah, here's a good one too. Thurgothon Singer used to do a zine called Hammer of Damnation. Great mag. Yeah, that was a killer one. Galvanizer EP Kills. Yeah, it's nice to see that there are newer bands out there. Someone's saying check out Gore Cost, and Lantern is top shelf.
Yeah, I have to agree about this Lantern.
Yeah, I've heard about them too. I think they're on an American label, Dark Descent Records, if I'm not
Exactly.
mistaken.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so do you? I mean, yeah, I got to ask again. I think you mentioned it, but over the years, like, how many people have asked you for artwork?
Uh, too many, I have to say. I can't count them there anymore. I can't remember all the details, but I have been asked a lot of my art, and even my old art. I don't know why they value that as much, because I really don't care about that stuff anymore.
Yeah,
I have
I
to
mean,
say.
did you ever feel that you could make a career in that? And at that time, you didn't, obviously.
No, it was just like a hobby thing completely. So I
Right.
never like about thinking of like making like career by doing cover art and stuff.
Right.
So
I mean, I'm sure. I mean, I didn't when I was first tape trading and doing a small distro. It wasn't my like career. It was just like for fun, basically, a hobby. Tape trading, writing to bands, and then yeah, there was like that lull in the action from like in '95 to maybe I don't even know, maybe 2000s, and then it kind of jumped back up again a little bit and down. It was kind of all over the place.
do you want to hear, Roy, what are two of my favorite releases from your label? I have the disc here. Obviously, X Mortis.
Cool.
This was great disc.
Yeah, the
Having
demo
all,
compilation of all the old Ex Mortis demos.
yeah, this was awesome. And
Cool.
then this one, Fatal.
Oh hell yeah.
I really like this band a lot.
Yeah, they were something special, man. The recordings and the demo and 7 inches were
Yeah,
super important, as
yeah.
far as like if that they had this like thrash sound, but they had like a moving into the Morbid Angel zone too. And maybe
Yeah,
if they would
yeah.
have continued as a band, you know what I mean, they might have
Mm,
really made, and they might still be around today, basically just doing their thing.
yeah.
Tony did go on to be like more of a studio guy,
Okay.
so he stayed in the environment of music, which is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even over time I tried to put out just the releases that I loved. You know what I mean? That was for me. Like I didn't. When I first started, I just wanted to help Gorephobia spread their
Hmm.
tape around. But
Yeah.
basically, and then Incantation too. I just wanted to spread their music around. And then after a while, running a little distro, trading with people, at some point, the singer from Ceremonium said, why don't you put out our 7 inch. So I'm like, oh,
Hmm.
okay, why don't I do that? And then that kind of led me to be, I guess, a record label. And always over time, with all the old releases, your Ex Mortis or Fatal, Dr. Shrinker,
Mm.
Autopsy, just Interment, Gorment, just all these bands, Disma, all these bands. I love the music, so it was so important for me to put out stuff that I kind of already loved. You know what I mean?
Mm. Yeah.
Like, and spread the word and let people know. Because even
Yeah.
stuff like Dr. Shrinker, when I put it out, it wasn't really received that well in the
Okay.
death metal scene because of the name of the band, Dr.
Yeah.
Shrinker. Didn't
Yeah.
seem like it was some kind of death metal thing. And I was told, as people did connect with it, they said, well, hey, I purchased a few of your CDs and I am really into all these, but like I purchased this Dr. Shrinker one with the demos. I had no idea what it sounded like, and I'm kind of sad that I didn't buy this much earlier, because the demo, the Wedding the Grotesque, is just like such an epic demo of like it's right there with the Autopsy album almost. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And they almost got signed by Earache, right?
Yeah.
With this 2-track tape called Eponym.
Right.
Yeah, but
yeah,
then
they made that demo
yeah.
for that Earache to be signed to them.
Yeah.
Which could have give them a different flight path too, as far as being known.
Yeah.
It's strange, like the half-life of some bands versus others, you know? Like even Demigod, who are known, you know, probably mostly known for their own stuff. It's just like, you know, there are other bands out there that are a lot more outplaying and doing things and stayed alive for 20, 30 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where
True.
Demigod kind of not really doing that. You know, Beherit kind of not really doing that. Maybe a member here and there doing something, you know what I mean? But
yeah.
and it's cool that you have the what do you call it? The festivals to bring you guys back together. Something like, you know, where you have all these old bands, and I mean you kind of have a couple newer bands there too as well at the bottom, you know.
That's really cool, and really cool that Timo has that enthusiasm to kind of work with these and stuff, and everybody who's have the enthusiasm with the work, the festival stuff, with all kind of death metal relics and maybe new bands. It should be really, really cool to meet the guys, the other bands, and of course Luxi and the Tony, Immu, everybody, the other bands. So it's going to be really cool, really, really cool.
So in this scenario, since you're playing, right, do you go back to your old amplifiers and stuff you haven't played with in a while and kind of like dust them off a little bit, and then you bring them to the show like do the other bands?
No.
We must use this old amplifier because we used it on our 1989 demo, you know, and it's like a little box like this big, and they just put it on the stage. Put the microphone next to that thing.
Yeah.
That's the right way to do it.
Yeah, okay. We have the picture we had. You showed the first picture where we was the bass cover, bass cover, and everything. So that time that picture was taken from one gig. Yes, that picture was taken from gig from Kuusamo. And that's a locker room to the gym, and we had a gig there. It was the school, and we have one roadie there. So his job was to switch lights on and lights off during the show. There was one spot. There was one spot only off and on, off and on. That was it.
Can I ask a question?
We
Did
need
you guys
to see
bring
this.
that painting to the show?
Juha Vuorma, who have done the Sacred Crucifix. You showed
because that's pretty big.
The logo. Yeah,
you have like a big ass painting with a skull woman with an inverted cross.
Yeah.
Do you guys Did you guys worship Satan back then? Was that just your image?
We were interested about the stuff, but we have never been any kind of onto everything. It was kind of cool to show stuff like that in a city full of less stadiums.
Oh, sure. This is being the old lineup of you guys too, right?
Yeah, that is taken 89 after the demo.
I really like the sneakers.
Sessions. Yeah.
That was the thing back then.
Yeah, that was the thing back then. Yes.
Sneakers with big tongues, and then someone has a patch on their pants too, which is super brutal.
Yeah,
No flannels, as I mentioned later down the line.
No, we never have had any flannels, I think.
Yeah, you
Maybe
guys were
Janne
like
and
pre-flannel. 19.
era.
It was more
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Borance, amorphous, kind of in that zone.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
We
was
were
amorphous thing.
Right.
Yeah. We were pre-funnel era, I think.
So yeah, this was not this one. This was a cadaver art.
Yeah, originally meant for cadaver.
Wow. And this was this was like Necrosis record era cadaver.
Yeah, true.
Amazing. That's amazing. Yeah, cadaver killer.
And because it was never used for anything, then this Galvanizer guys just
Right.
came up with the idea if they can use it for their EP, and I was like, I'm cool with that. And then after that, after a while, Cadaver make their own comeback, and they wanted to also put that thing out as a t-shirt design, just to make a sign about that. Well, they have come back, and this was the thing we used to have back in the day, but there was some sort of dilemma, with the Galvanizer and Cadaver, having the same artwork. So
yeah. How about this
idea,
one? I got a question. Here's a question in the chat. Miko and Luxi request name your top 3 Finnish death metal releases. I know that's a hard one.
Well, obviously, Miku's stuff was more like death thrash,
right?
So it's not like 100% death metal.
Yeah, so let's just talk death metal only. What do you? Well, I mean, that's super hard question. Obviously, your top 3 death metal releases.
I believe I have to go with Demigod's Slumber of Salonice.
Yeah.
It was.
It is one of the 3. Then Shadows of the Past, and also North from Here.
I would pick.
But I can't say 3 the best, but those that comes to mind.
Yeah, as ones that maybe were on constant rotation at the time they came out or something, right?
I could go with maybe Sentence Catalog with this Note from Here, because it had such a unique sound and everything was very unique on that record. And what would be my third pick? That's tough one.
Yeah. Would it be a demo maybe? Anything that was just like this was your demo?
I actually really like Funebre's debut album, but because of the sound, how it was produced, it was really light production, for death metal band. So
so the second demo would be your baby, right?
Yeah, kind of, yeah. Very heavy.
That was really important for New Jersey, New York too, especially New Jersey. A lot of bands, the second demo of Funebre were amazing.
And of course, Xysmas, it was cool.
Yeah. Zysma,
Xysma,
yeah, amazing. Definitely amazing release.
It wasn't purely death metal, but it was something unique.
Over time, I noticed that you had started to write. I mean, obviously, you seemed to get more into writing than drawing. So, like, you would write liner notes for like old demo-esque like releases, like say like a Disgrace or something. You really knew the stories of these bands.
Yeah, sort of, I have to say, but I was asked to write like. I have done quite a few of them, like, let me see. I have done like liner notes for bands like Mordicus from Finland, ARC from Finland,
right?
Abhorrence, Disgrace, Protect Illusion, Oppression, Phlegethon, and then there was this German band called Phobic Instinct, where is this guy from Exhumer, and then I did for Swedish Leprosy, and then I of course did for this X-Mortis that you
Right.
put out on your label. Then I did one for Doomstone from the States, and then I did for this Hellwitch box set liner notes.
Hellwitch?
Yeah.
Wow, cool.
What was the label that released it? Some German label, I guess.
Cool.
And then, of course, for Convulse, and then I did Vacant Coffin, God Forsaken, Mythos.
Wow.
And then I did a couple of others as well.
There's a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot of but I think that's essential actually to the CD and record layouts, that you don't just get two flaps with a picture and a cover, you know what I mean? It's nice when there's a story in there and tells the roots of the band. You know, this person was in this band, went and played some shows with Eternal Darkness. This band broke up because, you know, we got into a fight, you know, 2 minutes before the show or right after the studio, and then we got back together. You know what I mean? It's interesting to see the timelines of certain bands. I find that very important in the history of all the death metal stuff that's out there, that there are releases that, you know, they have clear stories, and it's nice to have the outsider's perspective of it, because you're not in the band. So basically you can have an outsider's perspective, because as time goes on too, sometimes internally inside the band, there's like two guys that don't like each other. And I'm sure you know that too. I know that.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, you can't have either one is trying to write their own history, you know what I mean? And it's just like, you know, me and Oscar from Ceremonium were just talking about this, because we were looking at this like Ceremonium discography thing. And then he's like, this guy wrote this. He didn't even mention that I played on this one thing. So it was pretty funny, you know. It's just like, you can't really rewrite the history when you're in the band, you know what I mean? Like, it's best to have someone, you know, from the outside kind of write the history of the band, you know what I mean? They're
exactly.
more objective, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I'm having some camera issues here.
Okay. That's okay.
Hey boys, I have got to go soon, because I'm single parent for two youngsters here, so I gotta get them to bed, so they gotta school
All right,
tomorrow.
Man. I thank you for coming on.
Yeah.
Thanks,
sure
Miku, for coming over.
I'm sure me and
really
Luxi will be wrapping it up soon too. Anyway.
Yeah. So thank you very much, everybody who's listening. So
so definitely
check out the new stuff with what's coming up, or new stuff. So check out the Realms of Darkness demo and the stuff what's coming through Ripping Storm and Extreme as well, because it's
check out the new
cool.
stuff.
But you guys, new old stuff,
new old stuff.
We are doing something new as well. So, but I informed Luxi about that, so you hear about that also.
Cool.
That's
and then if anybody wants to see you guys, you'll be playing in July. Sorry.
Yeah, and there's coming more shows. Yeah.
Oh yeah, cool.
Oh, of course. So now we are, of course they're coming, because now we have awakened, so we are awake, so we do as much as we can. We are not youngsters anymore, so now it's time to get the full gas while we still can. It's
Death Metal Podcast too. Death Metal Podcast wants to say thank you for coming on, because basically you and I, we really don't know each other, right? But
now we do.
Yeah, now we do, and I feel like it's important to tell the story of your band too, and also for the listeners to check it out, because you guys were early on the front. So thank you for coming on, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, boys, and thank you, everybody. Yeah. So have a great.
All right, brother.
See you soon, Miku. Bye.
All right, there he is. So everybody should check out their releases and stuff, you know? Can't wait for the new stuff and the reissues. Thanks for the extra info. No problem. You got it straight from the source, straight from the man.
Yeah.
And then Luxi, what's new on your front? What have you been up to? What's your main
Well, actually, this the Metacrypt site, it takes a lot of my spare time. I'm actually using a lot of time to write stuff for that site. I really like writing for that site because it supports the real underground scene,
Right.
and I have some cool things coming up through that site, like these country specials about some more obscure metal countries like South Korea, Ukraine,
Right.
Egypt, Turkey, and stuff
Okay.
like that.
Cool.
So,
And this is the site right here. If anybody wants to check it out, it's www.metalcrypt.com. You don't own this site, Luxi? You just write for it?
no, there's this Canadian guy called Michel Renaud. He's
Uh-huh.
the site owner,
Okay.
and he formed the site like in 1999, a long time ago.
You still doing interview reviews for voices?
Me?
Yeah, you. Voices,
No,
not as many.
no, I haven't been doing for the voices any reviews for like maybe 4 or 5 years, I think.
Okay. Yeah, I
Because
just happened to pop onto their site. Yes, it's been a while since I actually looked at their stuff, which I used
yeah,
to see it more. But I guess that just shows that the internet's a little saturated, you know?
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
What do you besides collecting Slayer bootlegs? I mean, do you keep up with the reissues of the stuff of some of the old stuff that you were involved with?
Well, sometimes yes. Well, because nowadays you can see that every demo,
Right.
whatever what they
Good
will
or
come
bad?
out exactly. They will come out, in the CD format or vinyl format. So, but those are kind of nice to get collected as well,
Right.
because the sound quality is way better normally than the demos ever had, and but there's so much stuff going around all the time, and so many labels that it's really hard to follow everything.
It is. What about tapes versus records? Which one are you bigger on?
um, Tapes are highly collectible nowadays, and I'm kind of glad there are some labels actually that are only putting out tapes,
Right.
but but I can't play them anymore. I don't care for those.
Oh, you don't have a tape
It's
player?
I do, but it's just too much effort, to listen to the tape and then try to find some exact song from the tape, and it's
Oh, so
very
would you put yourself as a CD guy then?
mostly yes,
Okay.
and of course I'm collecting mostly vinyls. I
Right.
hardly buy any CDs anymore until well, let's say that if it's like a very undergroundish band, I wanna like support them, like buying their stuff straight
Right.
through their websites and stuff. But other than that, I'm not into buying like from big labels that much
Right.
stuff
Do
anymore.
you use the digital platforms, the Bandcamps, the Spotify's?
Well, I actually go into those places to hear the bands, and if I'm into like really digging some stuff, then I'm going to buy like a physical copy. But other
Right.
than that, I'm not into
You just
too
use
much
it as
into.
a testing ground to check out the sounds.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I only care for like this physical stuff, because like one wise man once said, only physical copy is real.
Yeah. Someone said to me a long time ago before I started making shirts, they said, you can't download a shirt.
Yeah,
And I'm like,
that was those were
I think I will
really
make more
really wise
shirts
words.
because you can't download a shirt.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Got rid of all my 7 inches and collect tapes and LPs. Tapes are more convenient to listen to, at least around the house. I'm actually in the tape. I've been in the tape zone a little bit right now. I think it's
Okay.
only maybe because I'm cheap. And I see the records are cost double what the tapes cost. The postage might
Yeah.
be more. So I'm like, I want the release, but I want to buy the tape for some reason. And I'm like, it's not always for a collectability thing. It's more for like a new band or like you said, a recording that maybe you had a third hand dub of, and now you have the first source, possibly cassette where it sounds a little bit better, you know? I do see that there's many and almost too many record labels, and it is very hard to collect. You know, so I collect a little, I don't want to call this collect, but I mean, I listen to a little bit of stuff through Bandcamp because you can get like the digital sector of it, and then eventually you get a cassette tape, you know? What about somebody was asking about your shirt? Are you still into shirt collecting or?
Well, if I go to like a concert and want to support a band, whatever it may be, then I'm basically want to buy a shirt straight from the merchandise table, because it's always nice way to support bands, especially nowadays, because we have this COVID thing going on, and you know, bands don't get to play as much live as they want to. So
that's why I picked up my buying on Bandcamp, because there's a lot of people that if you follow the band and then they put out a thing, they'll say, well, we have a new tape coming out Friday, you know, be there for the drop. And then within a day or two, I'll try to buy the tape. I'm also going to put out some tapes and stuff for, not for Bandcamp, but I'm putting out for Necroharmonic. I'm nostalgic towards tapes. A little, for a couple of years, I kind of resisted those. I was like, fucking tapes? What are you kidding? CDs hold so much more music, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
But then I was like, you know what? I mean, then I looked around and I was just standing amongst like a room that I have upstairs, and there's just like racks of those 100, kind of like behind me. You see that rack with the 100 rack? I just have a wall and it's all tapes. And I'm like, you need to why aren't you collecting tapes? Like, why aren't you listening to and I listen to my tapes, you know, even though you have your Spotify. I'd rather listen to a tape for some weird reason, and even on a crappy radio, because I want to have that old feel of me listening to an old Schizophrenia dub, or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And some of that stuff too, it has a different feeling. I don't know if it got remixed for Spotify or they upload a remixed video version of it. But then you listen to something, say like on a Spotify, and you're just like, this doesn't sound like the thing that I used to listen to when I was younger, you know?
Yeah.
It's a weird feeling.
Yeah. Have you kept all your tapes, by the way?
Yeah, I have. No.
Okay.
I kept a good portion. I kept everything that I listened to the most, and then a couple cassettes I sold off in moments of just dire. Same thing with 7 inches. Just in moments of like, I have to pay my bills, that I literally have to eat into my own collection to sell off records, shirts. Yeah. Shirts were the easiest to sell back in the early days of eBay, kind of like 1989, 90, 2000, 2001, because they were very, those same shirts a lot worth more now, but they were the easiest to sell off because as time grew, so did I. So my shirt size was not a large or an XL that had washed into a large. It was a 2XL. And at some points a 3XL, and now I'm back to 2XL. You know what I mean? Yeah. So how about you? Were you did you have to buy and sell tapes, or?
Well, actually I have, got rid of most of my tapes. I sold them away in eBay like so many years ago. I still have some left, of course, but most of them are gone anyway, because I just felt that I can't keep everything, so I'm gonna sell them away for some true collectors. So, and that's what I did. So
okay, so you were just passing it down the line, basically. So you felt like if you gave your tape to another real collector, then you were just kind of passing the torch down the line.
Yeah, and I know that all my tapes found a good new home because they were hard collectors. So I know that they are gonna treat them really well.
Yeah, that's good. So, and when you see, do you ever I noticed you weren't really on social media. You were more like you were in the Facebook Messenger, but you weren't really on Facebook.
No, I'm just only the only way to reach me is actually via my email, or then go to the Metacrypt and send me a
Right.
message through that site. So
Yeah,
I
because I was
have
going to ask you if the on like on Facebook nowadays they have groups where people just talk about old demos and what's original and what's not, and that
okay,
actually
yeah,
has become a thing, which I feel like kind of taints metal a little bit because people are very interested. It says like, "Oh, that's not an original," you know what I mean?
okay, yeah.
So it's like, well, I mean, are you buying it because you like the music? Or are you buying it just to collect it as a trophy, basically? You know what I mean? It seems like trophy buying. And then there's also too, there's like a subsector that of people, like say like a sentenced album.
Hmm.
Say Thrash Records only pressed like 1,000 or something back in like '92 or something. So then
Yeah,
they have like a Russian bootleg market that takes and redoes the original everything. And
okay.
they make it so close that they use the same matrix codes and everything.
Oh,
So they look
wow.
super, super close. And
That's
they do it mostly anything that is a certain value. You know how do you use Discogs?
yeah, sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, so anything of a certain value on Discogs or eBay, the top value stuff, like
Yeah,
say like a
yeah,
Rochavore album or a Demigod first album.
yeah,
For some
true.
reason, these releases they got to be worth like hundreds of dollars, you know. So
Yeah.
those are the releases that they focus on first, because I guess for maybe just to fool people, I guess to think like,
Mhm.
hey, this is the original, you know.
Yeah. That's
I
professional ripoff, put out these sort of
I
almost
I bought an
official.
old Sacred Crucifix T-shirt from Luxi in Wake Vaken around 2000.
Oh, that's cool. That must
Yeah,
be one of the Swedish guys.
yeah. There you go.
Oh,
Hakami
cool.
666. I guess you
There you
maybe we
go.
had a stand set up and you were selling off your old T-shirts.
Yeah, I remember having that. There was like this Hellion Records
Oh,
in
Hellion
Germany.
Records. Wow.
Yeah, and I think I was selling those shirts. I have like a huge case of shirts with me, the original underground shirts, and I was selling them these shirts over there. And
Mm,
then it wasn't euros, but it was like German marks back then.
okay.
So I got rid of most of my shirts anyway.
And that festival's huge, right? Like
Yeah,
huge.
and yeah, I know, yeah, and
I don't know. I
because
never been there. I just see it on TV on videos.
yeah, but that's the same thing with shirts. You keep them forever if you don't wear them. So why don't
Right.
just sell them away for some diehards?
No, that's cool. I like that.
Yeah,
And now
yeah.
that guy, well that's Jua from if I'm
Ah,
saying it right, from Namanan.
hey, Juha.
Hells Yuha. Sorry.
Yeah,
I'm so bad at that. We Americans pronounce it just the way it looks, you know?
yeah. Actually, I remember you were having some hard times to pronounce my second name, Lahtinen.
Yeah, even I did on the last podcast. I think someone threw an extra I in there though, because I was like I
Yeah,
was like, I can't even fucking say this guy's name, dude. He's
I
gonna be on
remember.
next week.
I saw that part, and
I was
I
like
was like,
looking at it on the screen and I'm like, I've said this guy's name
poor
a
Ronnie.
thousand times. Yeah. I was like,
Yeah,
I've said his name 1,000 times out loud,
yeah,
but like now that someone threw it on the screen,
yeah,
it has to do with the live nature of this show. So sometimes
yeah.
I kind of get like I mean, but at
But
the
that's
same time, we just did this interview and I don't have any questions around me. So basically
okay.
everything I asked and talked about had more to do with the photographs you sent me, which
Yeah,
seems
okay.
more like live and cool, right?
Yeah, and
So yeah.
if there's somebody else having some questions, I can answer them
Yeah,
quickly.
yeah, let's bring that on cuz I'd have to piss anyway. So maybe we can give does anyone have any questions for Luxi? And let's say the last name right. Lahtinen?
Lahtinen.
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 Lahtinen. I'll never
Quite
say it
close.
right. I'm so
Quite
American,
close.
I will never say it right. How is your brother doing too, by the way?
I think he's doing really great, and he's still into heavier music and all kinds of other stuff as well. But I
Cool.
don't think he's into trading tapes anymore. Of course.
No. And do you guys get involved with Svart Records a bit?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, the guys are always asking some old stuff from us, and well, depending on what they have on their plans and what they want to release, and if it's related somehow to some underground metal bands, then they may ask.
They may talk to
You
you.
know,
about
to borrow some stuff to them, but I don't have any old stuff anymore. But my brother Yami may have.
Yeah. Does anyone have any questions in the chat for Luxi? Okay, here's a good one. Luxi, any stories about the parody band Fuck Beherit? It was a troll band, Norwegians or Swedish, trolling Beherit, and there was a rivalry between scenes?
Actually, I don't have any stories about.
You don't know that one? That band?
No.
I think that was like a...
Sorry, I'm sorry.
Here's a better question. What's Luxi's favorite art he drew and favorite band cover ever?
That Incantations EP is pretty nice, actually, which I did for Serapid Decay. And probably my favorite album cover ever is we talk about heavy metal, and I have to pick up Judas Priest Sad Wings of Destiny album. I really like that cover.
Yeah, that's a killer one.
A classic. So that's my favorite, I think.
I don't know what this means. Norway, Finland prank call war.
No idea.
Anyone else with some good questions for Luxi? And now also Bill, he drew the lettering on the bottom of that Incantation 7-inch because he drew their logo. My friend Bill here.
Oh,
he's
cool.
The drawer of the Incantation logo.
Wow, very nice job.
Did Luxi ever see Beherit live back in the 90s?
Yeah, quite a few times actually. And they were like a different animal amongst, these death metal bands back then. But, it was funny that there was like Beherit playing kind of black metal and a bunch of death metal bands. And, this Holocaust of Vengeance was brave enough to bring, Beherit to those gigs. And it felt like everybody, were like very supportive to each other. And, really didn't have any bad word to say if there's like black metal band amongst death metal bands, and so it was pretty cool.
Cool, man. Luxi shot the final Beherit show in 1992. I guess I mean the video.
Maybe this Arto remembers better than me.
It was on YouTube.
Okay. Somebody downloaded it for me.
The fans know. Galvanizer is another sick band from Finland. Does he know them? He knows them. He drew their cover.
I know. Yeah, and I met the guys actually last year at this Finnish Death Metal Maniacs festival that is arranged by Immo.
Yeah, let's talk about this too. I didn't bring this up, Luxi.
Oh yeah.
Here's you chilling with your old deceased shirt, and you're with
me and my tiny, sexy little glasses on. Yeah, that was actually from the year 1991 when Sepultura came with. They were actually on tour with Paradise Lost, and this Paolo Xisto Pinto Jr., as his whole name is, he was actually one of my pen pals.
Okay.
And he was living in Brazil and back then, and we were actually trading records with each other. He was sending over lots of Brazilian underground stuff to me, bands like Vulcano and Cortus and Sarsapaco, and they were
Paulo
all
from Sepultura.
yeah. And I was sent this Paolo was a big fan of Iron Maiden, so I
Uh-huh.
was sending him like a bunch of Iron Maiden vinyls to Brazil, all these picture albums and stuff like that he didn't get from Brazil at that time.
Here's a
So
pretty good.
that
Here's
that's
another
our
decent.
story.
Cool,
Yeah.
man. That's a good picture. You look like a young buck there.
Yeah.
Luxi, thinking back to the bands of the pre-90s or pre-93, is there any bands that were super intensive live or particularly violent?
I have to say Imperial Nazarene, of course.
Right.
They were really worth watching live, you know. They were like really intense, and I don't think they have come down too much from those years either. But
Right.
from all those Finnish bands, Imperial Nazarene was the craziest one for sure.
Who out of all the Finnish bands, I never really asked this, like who did you live closest with, or who were you the most like friendly with?
This was all about this Turku scene, sort of, where Funebre, Disgrace, and Xysma all came from.
Okay.
So I think it was with those guys that I was closest friends with.
Cool. And
Because
still friends with?
uh,
To an extent, because
I
some people
haven't.
do get lost.
Well, actually, I haven't talked to any of those guys for years anymore because you know they don't have those bands going on anymore. But even Xysma is now recording a new stuff, but I still haven't been in touch with those guys
Right.
for such a long time.
The one of the members of Xysma sent me his a PDF of his book. He wrote a book that had to do with his time in
This guy's name is Vesa Itte,
Vesa. Yeah.
original bass player for Xysma.
Yeah. It was cool. I want to.
Yeah.
I never got a handle on that box set that they put out on Svart Records.
Yeah.
I saw that had a bunch of tracks I had never heard. I had a good amount of them, but there was like a section of them I was like, I really need to get this.
Some rare stuff. Actually,
It was a little out of my price range. I could never really get a handle on it. I was like,
yeah, I know.
$100.
Yeah. Plus the shipping to the States.
Yeah.
It's not that cheap.
Just a little out of my price range.
Yeah.
They need to Svart Records is watching this. Please put that on 3 CD. Thank you.
Maybe they will do it someday, but you never know.
Yeah, I have a sneaking suspicion maybe a demigod thing from them.
Well, actually, I don't know if I can tell you this, but you know, there's gonna be a reissue for Demigod Slumber of Sullen Eyes.
Cool, man. Maybe some additional stuff on there that from the early days or something, you know. Well, it seems like there's a lot of re-additional stuff of Slumber of Sullen Eyes as it is, though.
Yeah, and I think that album has been also, you know, bootlegged so many times through different.
For the same reason too, because if you have a release that's on Discogs or eBay for $250, like it's inaccessible to a person who only has $20. You know what I mean, or €20. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like, you know, there's like an upside to putting out these box sets and these super intensive collections for the collectors. But then there's the downside of like the flippers and the people who buy them that don't really want them, basically, and they just want to try to double up on it. You know what I mean? I understand if you're selling it and you try to sell it at a market value that's higher if you really need the money. You know what I mean? Because I mean, I've been in that scenario, you know, but I've seen releases being bought that are new, and then within 2 weeks they're on Discogs for double the price. And it is what it is, though, you know.
Yeah.
I kind of left the eBay market. I was on there for like 20 years. on and off, buyer, seller. And on the seller side, it just stopped selling stuff on there because the customers were just completely maniac, weird assholes.
Yeah.
And the fees too. The fees were just phenomenal.
Yeah.
You know? What about old tape trading lists, old flyers, old stuff like that? Is that all gone from your world?
Yeah, I have to say so, because I used to have like a big box full of them, all these old flyers, and actually I sold them away like all at the same time for one collector. There were like flyers for example, original flyer. I found this original flyer for this the first battery LP.
Wow.
Even a flyer for that was like, okay, I even have this, but I really didn't care, and I put all these flyers together, like hundreds of flyers, and sold them away for some old school collector.
Right.
So hopefully he or she was happy to get them all.
I'm sure.
Yeah. It was
when
like,
you sold that stuff, were you just trying to downsize it out of your life, or you just felt more the passing on thing?
Well, it's always cool to sell something for true diehard collectors that have been missing like some certain item, and make them happy that way. Because, like I told you earlier, that I can't keep everything, so I'm just happy to get rid of some of my stuff, except for the Slayer bootlegs.
Right. Yeah. Oh, you might have sold a few of those, or
no,
at some
I
point?
will. I haven't decided yet, but I have no kids, so it's very hard to know what will happen to those.
Yeah.
But let's see.
What do you think? How many do you think you got? A lot? Or you collect the ones from like the early 90s too?
Yeah, I basically have like, if you mean Slayer bootlegs.
Yeah.
Okay, there's like two or 300.
Wow.
I can't recall.
That's what you think you've collected, about 200 or 300 of them?
Yeah,
Wow.
at least. Yeah, but I try to collect all those rare Slayer bootlegs.
Even the lathe
what
cuts?
I can get. Yeah, sort of. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Yeah, those are rare.
But,
rarer looking,
But my holy grail of all of these Slayer vinyls is, of course, the test press for Rain in Blood. I have that one.
Oh wow, a test press of Rain in Blood.
Yeah, and I can't remember how I got it, but I have it in my collection. I was really happy to get it from somewhere and from some guy.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah. Did you pay a lot? Was it a lot of money?
Well, I believe that I couldn't get it for like under $100.
Right.
So I guess
that's a rarity. I wonder how many of those were made.
For it. Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder how many of those made. Probably not too many.
No, I don't believe so.
Here's another question. Drown Productions and Thrash Records put out the most Finnish classics. Wondered why there were no other major Finnish record labels other than Spine Farm and Comeback?
Well, actually, Comeback. Okay, Spine Farm was actually the thing. This Spine Farm, that they put out lots of stuff. When you think of the past of Spine Farm Records, they made bands like Fintroll and Moonsorrow and Sentenced and so many others. Zero Budum. They made all those bands so famous. How big they became over the years, and became like a really big household names from Finland. And but other than that, I can't think. Okay, Svart Records is doing great for all this obscure stuff.
Yeah. But, and those guys from Svart Records, I know Jukka from Disgrace, he works for them, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and they put out a lot of like regular releases as well.
Yeah,
Mostly like, is that Finnish pop or metal or?
It's basically this 70s, 60s, maybe 70s stuff mostly. These more broke bands like Wigwam and stuff like that. And
okay. Like a revamp of a 70s band, but like a 2020 type style one. Is that what?
Yeah, and they're actually doing really great job, with all this, because all their releases are like very much quality releases. It doesn't look cheap and they sound great, so they are actually doing great job.
Yeah.
And they even actually, if you remember, they actually put out this Demilich box set as well.
Right.
And it basically had everything on it.
Right. Including unreleased stuff.
I believe, yeah, there was like a couple of songs that Demilich hadn't put out, on any table or anything.
Yeah. And I want to, my friend David from Undergang, he did the cover art for that. And I want to give a shout out to his festival that's coming up, which here's a flyer for it. Hold on, let me take my branding off.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so he just started unleashing some of the bands for this the last couple days. And this is the Unearthed Morbidity Fest. So anybody should maybe check Facebook or something or Instagram for Unearthed Morbidity. And he's this guy who set up was one of the promoters, maybe the main, but stepped away, of the Killtown Death Fest.
Oh yeah, okay.
So, and Killtown Death Fest, really killer lineups,
Yeah, I was there once, like when there was like Sadistic Hinton playing. So I went there,
Oh,
with
yeah?
my wife, and it was great festival, like really undergroundish festival.
Right.
But the atmosphere and the bands, of course, they were great. They were really great there.
Right. Was this you when you went to the festival?
This is when I...
Or was this you hanging out with Zizma?
Almost, yeah. I turned to 50, like 4 years ago, and we had this hippie theme with us, and just, there was like 6 people there, and but we had this limousine and stuff, and going around with that, and that's fun.
It is fun.
Yeah.
You all have your suede boots. You got your suede boots on,
Yeah, it was something very different,
No, that looks fun. That's the limousine in the background.
Yeah.
And your wife, your lovely wife.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Next to me.
I love it.
Yeah, it's I had to send it over to you. That.
No, I mean that's what this show is all about,
Yeah.
We know that's how you dress up and go to the Zizma shows nowadays.
Yeah. Those are the costumes, yeah.
Yeah,
definitely.
What were you there? So was there a Zizma? Were you at some of those like Swarming of the Maggots era type shows, or were they kind of out of your reach?
Well, I actually saw Xisma when they only had done this Swarming of the Maggots demo, and they only played those songs. So
wow.
And they were playing those. They were like youth houses or something.
Okay.
And I went into them to see them, and of course, it felt like my experience was like they sounded very noisy because I haven't kind of used to that kind of fast grinding stuff back then, and but still, it was cool to see them playing live anyway.
Yeah. Was there anybody that like you used to go to shows with, a friend or somebody?
Yeah, a bunch of friends from those days, but
band names? Anybody from a band that anybody would know?
Oh well, like I told you before, the circle was like all the band members went to see each other's bands, so it was always cool to go with them and see like the friends bands are playing, and so
cool.
The circles were really small.
Yeah, that's cool though. Someone says Necrobicius is the shit. Svart Records will release a demo collection of Thramadar and Necrobicius. Didn't know that.
Okay, I didn't know about this.
Here's what killed Finnish death scene in the 90s? Was it because of Entombed and Zeisma going death and roll? Every Finnish death metal band changed their styles mid-90s.
I don't think it has much to do with if some bands are changing their style and going like death and roll. I think it was like something to do with this thing that they kind of just got fed up playing death metal and wanted to do something different.
Right.
And that's always been the thing in the Finnish scene, so to speak, that they want to sound different from everything that's going on.
Yeah,
around.
maybe grunge influenced that a little bit.
Yeah, it has. Yeah, I believe so. That it had a huge impact on Finnish bands as well, like bands like Alice in Chains, especially.
Right.
They changed the sounds of many metal bands back then, I believe.
Right. Caius, maybe.
Yeah, Caius, they are cool.
Yeah.
I like Caius.
Same. But I could see how maybe people might have changed the direction. They heard the Soundgarden, they heard the Caius, they heard Nirvana. You know what I mean? They might have heard, like some of that type of stuff, Temple of the Dog or something. And then they're like, you know what? We need a singer who's going to really sing, I wonder if some of those bands regretted that. I don't know. You know what I mean? Some still existed and some did not after that too,
Yeah, you can never tell,
Yeah. And what about yeah, man.
I was just watching how much time is right now. Okay, it's almost 10 here.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay on for 3 or 4 more minutes. Even if you need to get off, you let me know.
Yeah, we can wrap up this conversation like maybe a couple of questions if you have anything.
Yeah, I'm just gonna bring it to the 3-hour mark. Nirvana definitely influenced Zeisma.
Yeah, I have to agree.
Yeah,
but plus also like Soundgarden and Alice in Chains as well, I believe.
Yeah, let me ask you this question: weirdest letter?
Weirdest letter?
Yeah, like what is the weirdest letter that you got, or through tape trading, or?
Well, actually, I believe that. Remember when Incantation released this live CD? This there was like Goat's Blood. It was like a limited.
Oh yeah, my friend's label released that.
I got one of those copies from either from the label guy or from John, and I was like, first when I didn't know that there was like real Goat's Blood, on the cover.
Right.
And when I got the CD, I was like, somebody has ruined my CD booklet. I'm gonna send this back. And then I was just getting some info that, well, actually it's very collectible nowadays, that it's better to keep it than get rid of your messy
bootleg. You have Goat's Blood bootleg. And you're like, why did the cover tray come all wet like this? This is ruined.
Yeah, exactly.
I saw this too. I mean, this is like becomes like an art piece. Maybe you could put in a Finnish museum or something.
Oh, this was released by this
7 Inches of Death Records.
Yeah, and it was like very limited edition, like with this wooden box. Like, was it like 30 or 40 copies only?
How does it feel to see your art on a wooden box?
It felt awesome, Of course, I had to get one of those, and of course the label guy told me that, well, don't worry, that he actually knew that I should get one of these because the cover, the original art is used for that. So
yeah,
I finally got it, and I was really, really happy.
Very cool.
The whole thing.
Yeah, very cool. I noticed you stayed a very adamant Incantation fan too for the entire life of their stuff.
Yeah, and great to see that John, has kept the band so strong that they are still, going and doing, great records.
Yeah.
So it's very cool. Same with Immolation, actually.
Right. Yes.
So they have stayed very true to their roots, both of these bands, and it's great to see that.
Oh,
Both
it's amazing.
bands are doing strong.
Yeah, it's good to see that maybe now that the band is getting the recognition they deserve, being that they've been around for over 30 years,
Yeah.
It's like, where was that recognition like 20 years ago, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
But they did, get a certain amount of recognition.
Yeah.
Let's see if there's any more questions. Okay, just one or two more questions and then we're going to wrap this up. Luxi, do you have any stories about Impaled Nazarene's penis photo shoot they did before Profanatica? Apparently,
I remember, me and my brother we were actually promoting Impaled Nazarene a lot back in the day when they released the Oath of the Goat demo, and we sending them over to many labels and some record stations and stuff, and along with those demos, they sent us a bunch of these, original photos where the guys were, naked and covered with blood and wearing upside down crosses and stuff. So those, they were like meant for promotion only. So,
right.
well, actually, I have seen a lot of those original photos from the band because of this thing.
You're like, why are you bloody and why are you naked? I don't understand. I have to send this as a promo.
Yeah, and some of those photos were actually taken in Finnish sauna.
Oh, okay. A Finnish sauna, Venner.
Yeah, and they were there, sitting there and covered with blood and using these inverted crosses, to make those photos look more badass.
Here we go. Did Luxi go to the Demigod Museum? There's that little museum where they have kind of like a Finnish shrine to like Finnish death metal.
I think this question must be related to this Rotting Ways to Misery book. They actually had this.
Okay. Bill toured with them, so he knows.
Okay, yeah. Cool. Yeah. But what was I was telling just a moment ago? Well, there was actually
it was the Finnish museum. There was like this art display or something where it had all the old.
Yeah, and it was related to this publishing of this Rotting Wave of Misery book.
Yeah,
but
here's a pretty
I
good
wasn't
question
there.
too.
I wasn't there.
Here's a pretty good question from my friend Eric. Luxi, sorry if I missed it. Any plans or maybe a zine or something showing off the art you've done?
Nope.
No. They need a fucking Luxi book too, man.
Okay, so,
you made enough. You made enough stuff that you deserve your own book.
Well, I'm no Chris Moyen or Dan Seacrest, so.
Yeah. I mean, those guys, all you guys are pretty prolific, but it's not just about the amount of content you put out. It's about the quality of the content. You know what I mean? Okay. So you put out a lot of quality content, you might not see that yourself because you're modest, but you put out a lot of quality art. I mean,
thank you.
Yeah. I mean, if we go back to just something as simple as like this, again, one of my favorites. I mean, this is some quality stuff. Or even maybe something like, this is really something else,
Yeah.
There's a lot going on there.
It's quite detailed stuff, really.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to wrap this up, though. There you go. Venner put the nail on the head. Luxi gave the Finnish scene a style. You did.
Thanks, Wilhelm.
You were like the Mark Riddick before Mark Riddick, so.
Thank you for the nice words.
All right, so we're going to wrap this up, this episode of Death Metal Podcast. Everyone that knows it or doesn't know it, here's our YouTube channel, if you're on YouTube. This is our Instagram. This plays on Facebook Live, but this is the Instagram where we make the announcements. I want to thank everybody that asked awesome questions, came out. Members of Ceremonium, Disma, Hod, Pius Levis. Let's see here. Nominon, Headrot, Cat from UK, Marco from somewhere. Yeah, a lot of cool people in here in the chat.
Cool.
Yeah.
And thanks, Roy, for having me to be a part of your podcast.
Completely awesome.
It was cool.
Yeah, I think it was completely awesome to talk to you face to face too, finally, not through a letter, you know what I mean?
After 21 years or so.
After this, you know?
Oh, I don't remember this one.
This is a letter you sent me.
Wow.
Where you drew a little picture on it too, you know, to let me know about some stuff.
Quite cartoonish.
Yeah, you're talking to me about Tiamat or something, which is cool.
Okay.
And you had this too.
Oh yeah, okay, cool.
All right,
I can't even remember all of the stuff.
Yeah, you wrote beautifully too, man. Your penmanship is amazing, dude.
Yeah, thank you.
Cool, man. Yeah, we learned a lot. Thank you. Thank you for everybody tuning in. Death Metal Podcast. We'll see you. Take it easy. Thank you, Luxi.
Let the metal flow. Bye-bye.
Take it easy, my man. All right, so there you have it. Another episode of Death Metal Podcast coming on at noon. We try to go to talk to the Finnish. And I'd like to talk to other bands in other countries too. So if anyone is watching this, even in the post show, if your band is, you know, I don't know, like not every band, but you know, if you know me or you're in an old school death metal band, old school, I hate that term. If you're in an old death metal band and you want to come on and we shoot the shit and we talk about some old history, if your band has some history, then hit me up because I love the European death metal scene. I love the Swedish death metal scene, the Finnish death metal scene. I've been talking to Caustic Vomit about doing a show about the Russian death metal scene. They're a newer band, but it should be cool. I appreciate you for tuning in, brother. No baloney Anzalone. Japan. Yeah, I'm going to try to do a show with Japan. That would probably be a nighttime one, like we did the other ones, where we had Takashi on. Maybe we'll get Anatomia to do a rehearsal or something live. We sometimes it takes a little sorting, you know. The Luxi thing came together pretty easily after we promoted Imu's Fest. We went a little earlier, and we went a little later too, so Finnish people go to sleep at 10 o'clock at night, so we're keeping them awake, you know. I want to thank everybody for supporting the channel. If you know somebody that wants to check it out, there's a playback, you know. And then, playback on YouTube. And there's a Death Metal Podcast Facebook page that also has like a player or whatever the hell it is. So, yeah, so this is Death Metal Podcast signing out. I'll check you guys